Y'all thought I wouldn't show up today. I tell you what, I was going to read a little Herman Melville today, like I have been doing, but in talking to some people and thinking about it myself, I'm not going to stop doing it. But we are going to start having the readings of Moby Dick on Sunday. And the reason why, because I decided that I'm going to be able to take a little bit more time. And instead of just reading 3 or 4 paragraphs, 3 or 4 minutes, I'll probably take about a 15-minute block. That way you get a little bit more of the story. And I think I don't have to repeat it much more than to say the main reason I'm doing it is I love the story, love Melville. The book was written longhand with a quill pen by a genius, just a wordsmith and one of the best artists that ever lived. And the second reason is when you hear these things, when I have to read it, because I've never read it out loud, when I have to actually read it to get the cadence right, these long sentences, these huge ideas that are put into words, it increases my frontal lobes. And in doing that, I hope that it increases yours. So anyway, Britisher, I guess we're going to keep this a little bit regimented, like we try to do. So I think you had something to say about Mr. Pressler. Is it too soon for that?
No, it wasn't actually about Mr. Pressler. It was that Steve Bannon is in the news today. And that was that he had a photograph taken of himself and a rabbi called Shmuley. And he accidentally, well, one doesn't know whether it was accidentally or whether it was on purpose. He was photographed in front of a whiteboard. And, the media is largely talking about the whiteboard. Whereas, of course, I saw Rabbi Shmuley and Scott Pressler standing next to each other. And I'm just sending you the link there. Perhaps you want to put that up on screen. Because seeing Rabbi Shmuley, I decided that there apparently seems to be someone who looks like the love child between Scott Pressler and the Ogre.
Ha 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 ha! And so you just spring it on me like that. You don't even tell me the joke until, yeah, I can see that. Okay.
That is something else right there.
But as you can see behind the two of them, that's where Steve Bannon's whiteboard is. And of course, the media have zoomed in.
Oh.
And there are to-dos and whatever on there.
Oh, triple the number of ICE agents. I can see it right there. End, catch, and release. What is this, fishing now? We're fishing for trout or something? Catch and release. I mean, oh my gracious. I'm going to have to take a look at this too. He's lucky he's at least standing right there. So this is the guy from Shalom in the Home. How do I know this rabbi here?
Well, Rabbi Shmuley, what's his full name? Rabbi Shmuley Botich or Botech? I don't know how to pronounce that.
I recognize him though. He's a famous rabbi.
Boteach.
No, don't ask me. I'm a hillbilly. I'm a Jew, but I'm a hillbilly, man. I can't say that.
But yeah, that one, that name sort of stumps me a bit. But I just looked at him and I just thought, hang on a moment. I see both the Ogre and Scott Pressler there.
He's too short and fat, man. Come on. But yeah, I see what you're saying. He's got the Abrahamic bloodline in him. So one way or another, we're freaking cousins, whether I like it or not. But I wish the guy would get on a treadmill. For your health, Rabbi, for your health.
Buteak. Well, as I say, that one really kind of stumps me, that name. Usually I will try my best to make some sort of credible attempt at a name, but that one is just beyond me.
I'm going to leave this just up for a minute more while we either talk about this or whatever, because I want to see if someone else will screenshot it out in the chat or somebody that watches this later and maybe break down what we can see. There are some people that are so smart, Britt, you know it, that they'll take this bit here and they will end up figuring out what it says behind his shoulder, like what it says behind his head by what's there.
Yeah,
so I'm sure someone has already.
As I say, I mean, this has been mentioned on the BBC, and I've seen it on other news. So it's definitely out there and alive. But the question I ask about such things is always, is this really accidental?
Yeah, it's a pretty. Seems like a pretty intentional spot to take a picture.
Yeah.
Well, but Bannon, listen, there's two kinds of smart people. And I'm going to use the two examples here on the panel. You probably know who it is. There's smart folks like, I humbly say myself. I can figure stuff out, man. I can build chicken coops and I can figure out puzzles and crossword puzzles and all that stuff. I do Sudoku while I'm sitting on the pot. I mean, But then you have smart people like the Britisher who think things through to the point they wouldn't be caught dead in front of their to-do list whiteboard. And, you know, I would say Steve Bannon and I, we probably have a lot more in common than the Britisher and Steve Bannon. So I don't think it was intentional, but I think the guy he's a very intelligent moron.
Yeah. Could well be, as I say, it's anything's possible in that regard. But at the moment, it's being sort of hailed at one great faux pas, and I would tend to side with you. It's more than likely just a mistake, but you do wonder if these type of mistakes really happen, or whether there is perhaps some intent there.
Yeah, well, it could be. Because just same thing, even though I said that what I said, I'm sometimes do some crafty stuff too. Not always, but sometimes I think things through. Steve Bannon, man, I like, don't get me wrong either. I like the guy. I look up to him, but do I like him as a presidential? No. No, not even a little bit. Even Trump, I don't, and look, I'm not going to get too far from the weeds, but we were talking before, and here's the thing, Brett. You did a whole video on the idea that people were so trumped up that, you know, and they were saying everything bad that people said about him was absolutely fake. Now Trump's on that line. He's already released a tech on campaign, or somebody has released a campaign video for the next time. And they're saying all these.
What is it with that? I don't understand that. That pretty much within a month of his being in office, he started campaigning. And
he didn't.
Apparently, according to the way they have to file the expenses, it has basically already been filed as these are the initial campaigns of the election in 4 years' time. And you just wonder, why on earth would someone who is only just taken up office start campaigning for an election that is 4 years away?
Well, but you got to remember on this particular thing, I don't know how it is there in England, but it's really weird here in the United States. Just about anybody can donate money or get a campaign together for someone. So the thing that's been released is not coming from the Trump camp, so to speak. It's by Trump backers. But if I was Donald Trump, Brett, I would say don't do it right now.
What I'm referring to are things like, you know, his first rally that he did after the election.
Yeah, I know. Guys, out of his mind.
Less than a month. And you sort of think, well, why would someone actually start holding rallies, you know, in the run-up to the next election when the next election is almost 4 years away?
Yeah, you don't have enough to do as president of the United States. Look, I know, you know, I've got my own ideas on that too.
So no, I don't quite understand what his tactics are in that regard, because it just seems bizarre.
And he pitched a big bitch over Hillary flying in Air Force One, which is technically illegal when she's campaigning to come out of Air Force One to do any political thing. Yeah. But he bitched and bitched a bit. I'm waiting on pins and needles, Brett, and panel to see if President Trump uses his Trump Airlines and does whatever they have to do security-wise to do that, or if when he's campaigning he takes Air Force One. If he just flies Air Force One into every place and does like he did with the Trump Airlines and makes him turn the plane so you can see Air Force One and then jumps out like a rock star, come on, man. This, you know,
isn't Air Force One technically just a designation for any aircraft that
any aircraft
is flying on?
That's correct.
So even if he did it with Trump Airlines, it would still be Air Force One.
But it wouldn't say United States. Yeah, see, it'd be different though. Yes.
Yeah, it wouldn't kind of be the property of the United States of America.
Fair, yeah.
On the other hand, the Air Force Two is actually an airplane that's available.
Well, and the Air Force Two is what would be what the vice president flies on. Any airplane that vice president's on is Air Force Two. But the funny thing is, Trump has two Sikorskis, whatever you say that, the helicopters, and now he's got the Air Force One is a lot of times is the Navy Sikorsky that, you know, flies out of by the Rose Garden there. Anyway, I got my eye on President Trump. Melania for a different reason. It's because those legs, look, they go all the way up to her neck. I can only imagine what the presidential poop. Never mind.
There's a great line in the sequel to what was it? In the movie Be Cool, where you've got says, damn girl, don't those legs go up and make an ass out of themselves? And Melania Trump, whoo,
man alive, I made it. I heard someone say once she has an ass like an onion. When I look at it, it makes me want to cry. Sorry. We really probably shouldn't talk about the first lady like that. I'll say this though: all the things about Trump was cool, but in my heart of hearts, honest to God, the best thing that's happened. Nancy Reagan was beautiful when she was young. In fact, Mrs. Ford was beautiful when she was young, but they weren't. They were old and ugly when they. And so, I mean, you got to go back to Jackie Onassis, Jackie Kennedy, and she was man. She was actually prettier than our first lady now, in my humble opinion. But I guess I feel a little weird now because yes, I would like to, lickety split first lady. If you ever have a problem with the president, you'll be rich because you could divorce him, take half his shit. Hey man, give an ogre a try. I'll chew my mouth food with my mouth closed. Be a gentleman. Keep my hands to myself unless you ask for it. Anyway, yeah, that was bad. Let's move on. I can't talk about the first lady anymore. She is gorgeous. She's stunning. She's the kind of girl that myself, I usually don't have a problem around pretty girls. I'm not sure I could just walk up to her without being stupid, because I would be thinking, be cool. And that's always when you're not cool. But anyway.
I think when it comes to Trump, you may remember, Ogre, I made a video some time ago where I think you sort of said to me, you weren't quite sure about it at the time. And that was when I asked people, whom will you believe if news arrives that basically Trump is screwing up? Whom will you actually believe? And at the time, Trump was brand new. But the reason I kind of posed the question to Trump supporters was because there was this narrative emerging of, well, that's fake news. And you could kind of see how a kind of herd mentality was emerging, whereby people were already readying themselves to disbelieve anything that was critical of Trump. And that's why I kind of posed the question, well, if something does happen, whom will you actually believe? So if you say, well, we don't believe the mainstream media, that's all fake news, sooner or later you have to effectively say to yourself, well, but I will believe it if so-and-so or such and such says it.
Well, you were just ahead of the curve on that one, Brett. I mean, I'll say this, what I remember, and when you came out with that, I was like, hey, you ain't done shit wrong. What are they going to say? And of course, when they say something, we'll listen, but I see what you predicted happening now.
We have a quick request from the chat. Pash Button is asking you to link him to the photo with whiteboard so he can enhance it and maybe give us some more details.
I'll shoot the link out in the chat right now. Push buttons. I tried to keep it up there for a minute, but of course, this will be much easier than making somebody go back and look through the stuff. So it's coming right now to the chat. So I don't know. And Britt, some people have a gift for that, and you're not always right. I mean, a lot of the times you are. I'm just pissed about it, but you're not always right. But a lot of times you do have the ability to see that something's going some way that probably a lot of other people see, but somebody like me.
I mean, it wasn't so much seeing, what Trump would do or whatever. It was just a matter of knowing that, look, every president screws up. So even if he were to be the best president of the United States, he would still make mistakes. So given that people were already effectively sort of mentally barricading themselves, I was sort of saying to people, look, whom will you believe when something like this happens? Because what you can see now is, I mean, you all must have come across this by now, that people are sort of saying, well, no, that isn't Trump making a mistake. This is Trump playing 4D chess. You all must have heard this, that actually, no, he's thinking around corners.
Yeah, I'm up to here with hearing that, because eventually you got to look at what he's doing wrong and not just make excuses.
Precisely. At some point, you have to take the facts and not simply assume in his favor.
And at some point is the operative expression here, as we are all accustomed to 24-hour news cycle. And I believe in this case, we simply need to have like 1 week or maybe 1 month news cycle to really make up our minds to judge the effects, the long-term effects of whatever Trump does.
Well, that's why I like so much your idea of having a slow news cycle. Dop, we were talking about that one day not too long ago. Yeah. That we should probably look back at things with a little bit of a drier eye, because that's the 24-hour news cycle is just, it's wreaking havoc. They have proven that in Britisher, this is why it's so important, because this is like the anti-cry wolf, but they've proven that if you read the news, your blood pressure goes up. I don't remember how much, but it goes up this much. You know, if you read or if you hear the news on the radio, it goes up 20% more. If you hear and see the news being read, it goes up 75. Somebody could look it up. It's outrageous. Watching CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, ABC, CBS for their talking heads, news junkies, fear porn mongers is bad for your heart.
That's exactly
Well,
why I had to slow down.
I think that is why, how should we say, the reason behind that is because all of them by now are effectively selling you conspiracy theories in which they're telling you to be worried because somehow some sinister force out there has got it in for you.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, you can't just relax. You got to be, because it's always, and then if you don't have CNN, it's the local news. It's got to be that way where you're at, Brett. It's never, hey, listen, I think of Bill Hicks. He was like, hey, you want to give us drug news? Why don't you? It's always a young man shot heroin into his scrotum sack and died of an overdose in his car in a shitty alleyway somewhere in Detroit. Well, why not? A young man takes LSD, goes on a wild trip and realizes that we're all one with the universe, that there is no life, there is no death, that we blend into the greater mind. And, you know, you never hear anything like that. It's always doom and gloom. Hey, Cabbage.
Salutations to one and all.
Good to see you, brother. I know you've been working hard lately. I'm glad to have you on today.
Absolutely knackered. I really am. It's absolutely tired out. But I shall stiff up a lip and we continue on.
Well, and you know, you stay as long as you want, long as you need, as long as you want.
British.
Yep.
Absolutely.
But even a good Brit always knows when to Brexit.
Oh, you're damn right. I wonder whether the French will.
I'm not going to invite Jeremy on this little show, but I got a lot of inside stuff on the French. What were you saying, Brett?
The French won't. It's not going to happen.
No, I don't think it will either.
Macron is something like 20%, 20 points ahead in every single poll. It just doesn't, you know, you can look at margins of error and whatever, but it's, you know, I said right from the start, really, the maths just isn't there to get Le Pen anywhere. And you have to remember that she operates. I think she only just beat François Fillon, the Conservative, by a little more than, you know, 1 or 2%. So she really only just squeaked into the second round.
Mm. And the Dutch one was never going to happen either because of the way that they operate. It's
well, I think it's also that, as I have said before, I think the continent is less down the road of discontentment with the system as it stands than the Americans and the British were.
Well, yes, but that's because they've had a 10 billion a year contribution to distribute amongst themselves, haven't they?
Oh, yes,
they
and now
have that anymore.
Now they want. Now they want their 100 billion.
You prick, Ogre.
Sorry, I got to go. I'm trying to segue because, look, we got a really funny story that I think the British wants to cover too, and I'm not going to be here long. So I'm going to keep it popping from one thing to the other as best I can without being a total dick. But I got to say, I talked to my significant other in the broadcasting realm, who is, yes, the one, the only, the mysterious and unknown dialectic, the Britisher. And we talked to, and we're going to have Blair White on because she was so cool to just come right back. But a lot of these folks that I try to get on, I get so many requests, and you just don't understand. And this, what we're doing here, people's heads. That's why I tell the Britisher, if I ever am like, oh, I got my YouTube channel, I don't care if it's 10 years from now and there's 20 people watching me, whatever it is. If anybody that knows me hears me doing that, just remind me I'm only a filthy, foul ogre, because I get in contact with them, and it's either they won't even say no. I mean, it would be nice to hear no. And I did get Avi. He was kind enough to come back and say, no, I thank you for offering me on your show, but I'm busy right now. I'll be busy till the fall. But these folks, Britisher, I won't mention any names right now because you know I try to be the good host. But some of these people, man, I mean, I try and try. They know I'm trying. They've been where I'm at, no matter who they are. And they don't even give me the dignity of a no. But Mrs. White, bam! I sent her, she follows very few people. I was honored for her to follow me. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, Mrs. White, if you ever condescend to watch this drivel. But I sent her some stupid, first I made a tweet, Brett. I took your advice. I watched for a while because I had some stuff I was going to say. And every time I typed, it's like, really, Mr. Ogre? That's so stupid, sir. So I erased. I could hear you. You're on my shoulder, Jiminy Britisher. And I was like, okay. So I found one. I was like, finally, man, one I can strike on. And I was like, I just sent. She said, people that are like me are saying that I'm killing. She actually did a retweet. Somebody was like, you're literally killing people with your videos, Miss White. And I just said, Mrs. White, I love you from a large, straight, white cis male. And then I sent her a picture of me flexing as good as I could with a big smile and said, love from a large ogre. And man, boom, she followed me. And I was shaking a little bit, but I won't even lie, because it's these people, I don't know how to approach them. I don't, this is all new to me. And so I sent her a DM. I waited the appropriate, I think, 45 minutes or so. I didn't just like run over there. But then I went over there and was like, Mrs. White, the Britisher and I have this little thing going with a really great panel of people. And I didn't think I'd hear from her. I even left her an out. It was like, if you're really busy and you don't even see this DM, I understand. And I sent her the link to Sargon Show. Man, 5 minutes later, she was like, sure, I'll be on. And I was making sure that she knew that I was nobody, because I was like, so you want to be on the show Monday, this coming Monday is what I mean. And she was like, yeah. Well, yeah, Blair White will be on. I'm going to say one thing. I was watching Steven Crowder, and then I really need to quiet down because I'm stoked about this, and I want to hear what y'all think. One, good or bad, Mrs. White has big shoulders for a female. I'll say that. But so whatever anyone thinks, I mean, Steven and her had this big kerfuffle on the twat themselves. But when these things come up with her, I was watching her and Steven Crowder, and I wouldn't have a problem with Blair White in pronouns, okay? Because when I look at her, I wouldn't, if I didn't know there was meat and veg there, Cabbage, I would be like, look at that shit, Cabby. We know we're sitting there with our pints, in the bar.
Yeah, but that's the problem, you see. The majority of the trans people who get any kind of publicity are always the ones who actually look really good, right? Whereas the reality is that most of them actually just look like a dude in a dress with an Adam's apple. They don't look anything remotely like. Obviously, they're great figureheads for the trans movement because they show like what you could have, but that's not what you usually end up with.
No, but it's this thought crime too, Cabbage. It's like, so in other words, when we see it, just like you said, most of them look like dudes in dresses. So when you look at them in a dress, I mean, I guess if you're there at the pub and some dude walks in a dress, most people would be polite and say, how you doing, ma'am, or whatever. But it's difficult for me. My mind.
No, I'm sorry, but most people over here would just laugh. I'm sorry, they would. It would just be they wouldn't do that.
One day I'm going to show up on camera with my wife's little purple dress on, just to show y'all what it would look like if a dude with a hairy chest. Because then I don't mind dressing up like a girl. It's kind of fun.
Please, Ogre. Please don't do that.
No, please don't. For the love of God, don't ever do that.
Give me a heads up and I'll join you on it.
There are some things you can't unsee.
Beardbarian,
bearded broads,
and we're gonna and I want to gloat a little bit. I just with Cabbage,
not gay ogre,
because that's who I'm working on. Is Not Gay Jared next. I really want to get him on the show. I like Steven Crowder, but I know he'd only be on for 5 or 10 minutes if he ever did come on. And man, I used to love Fun Dip. If anybody's followed Crowder, and when Fun Dip left, big fat guy, he was great. And when he left, I was near tears in all honesty. And then Not Gay Jared came on. I was like, wow, too bad they didn't get rid of the fat boy before. But I want to know, starting with Cabbage, Doppelganger, Beardbarian, and ended up with my best mate, Britisher. How do you all feel about her coming on? And maybe without giving away a question or something, what are some concerns or some joys that you have over the deal, Cabbage?
Well, nothing really. It'd be interesting just to get, the perspective and, where she thinks that whole thing relates to maybe social justice, the whole concept. Does she need any white knighting and that kind of stuff, No,
that's a good point. I don't think she does. Doppelganger, what's up with you?
Whatever.
No, I don't think she, whatever. But I don't think, I've watched so many of her videos in the last 3 days just so I could be informed on where she's coming from. She don't need no white knight. She had that one tranny on that's got the big Adam's apple that's a real jerk, an obvious dude. Riley.
That's what I mean. You see, that's what I mean. That's the problem. These are the ones that you really end up with, and unfortunately, the ones who get the publicity are obviously the ones that it's worked for. Because they do look extremely good.
She had this Riley Dennis on.
Riley J. Dennis.
And you can see I don't even really have hardly an Adam's apple. but you can see is massive. He's got like an Adams freaking limousine there, and so
it's an Adams melon.
It's an Adams melon. Yes, indeed, cabbage. And so what
Adams durian fruit.
What? That's even better because they smell bad. But so what she does is she's doing a takedown video of Dennis, of Riley, whatever, and she puts an orc from the the Return of the King. She puts an orc over the Adam's apple, and she's like, "That's better." And the whole time it goes to Riley.
Someone needs to animate a keck on his Adam's apple. A little keck.
All right, I'm muting now because I'm gloating so much I keep just talking over everybody. So go down the line. Tell me concerns or joys that you have over Blair Cummins, Doppelganger, Beardbarian, and Britisher while I shut the hell up.
I think I want to know how Blair White got Lacey on stream and how well that stream went. Unfortunately, I didn't watch it. And from what I saw on some other streams and videos, it seems that Lacey actually is not that much of a social justice warrior. She seems to be slightly orbiting to the right, or rather maybe centrist side. So I want to ask her opinions on this perhaps journey or whatever.
Absolutely, and that's something you'll be able to. Yeah, go ahead, Beard, because that's something you'll be able to ask her. I did watch that whole video. Lacey Green is a chameleon. She's just pandering to whoever's there with her.
So with Blair White, I'm actually really excited for this. This is fantastic. About a decade ago, I actually took my own little foray into the trans community myself, not understanding what the hell was going on. And I've always been a part of the LGBT community and being supportive, used to teach youth groups and whatnot. But I'm really excited to find out some of the more mundane facts where because like we're saying, the important thing with getting a good trans person and not feeling like an asshole about it is you can look at the person and go, okay, I can visually determine that you are a man or a woman based upon your appearance. And the number one factor that really defines the difference between passing and not passing comes from maintaining one's appearance. So how you dress, how you do your makeup. And that's the kind of stuff that I'm curious at poking at, because I think that information would be helpful, at least to folks who are really not pulling it off. And I'm excited to get some of those questions in.
That's cool. I've got some questions, but I'm not even going to share them right now. Most of them are, I'm not even going to share what they are about. I just have some questions. Yeah, not like the meat and veg, because I in watching all those videos, I did come. She tells you everything on her videos. She's got the balls and powder, so to say. But anyway, Brett, what do you think? I mean, I have a feeling. What do you think?
Well, I mean, to me, the whole area is rather confusing, as I once said when I did a video on this subject. And yeah, therefore, one sort of feels one will have to try to be terribly diplomatic during this particular outing.
Yeah, it's going to be harder for me than most people think, because I'm a joker, right? Everybody knows it about me. And when I feel a little uncomfortable, I crack the most inappropriate jokes I can think of. So I don't want to say anything like, well, Mrs. White, I'd surely suck your cock while your boyfriend watched. I can't say anything like that while she's on the show.
Well, you don't, I will, just after we're off air.
Well, and let's make sure that we give Amanda Wolfchild a chance to say, because I don't even want to repeat what she said on the live stream. I told my wife, and my wife was turning beet red, and she was like, she said that on air. I was like, yeah, Amanda Wolfchild, yeah.
Guys, don't you think that Blair White has seen already basically all the wars that we could throw at them, at her, and then some more? I think she would be perfectly prepared to answer any pointed questions or any, jabs at her.
Oh yeah, she just did a question and answer while she was drinking vodka, and the first one that she asked, she didn't answer. She was like, "Well, of course, this is the internet, so the most asked question I got is, do you have a cock, and if so, how big is it?" I laughed my ass off. She didn't even answer that. She just went, I think she did say, like, yes, she has a child. Or maybe not even there. I don't think she even dignified it. She was just like moved on to the real questions. But yeah, you're right, Dop. You can't shock this person.
Mm-hmm.
What I like about it.
So basically, I think, Britisher, you should try to do your worst, and let's all hope that the stream will have some giggles out of that.
Yes, but I think there will be more giggles by his aversions rather than him confronting anything, because that's the whole point. I mean, like I said, in a British pub, if somebody walked in like that, if it looked like that Riley, whatever, people would just be snickering. I mean, nobody would take the person seriously. It's like, we used to have a comedian over here, an Australian comedian, Dame Edna Everage. I don't know if you've ever heard of her. It was what was his name? Humphreys, wasn't it, Britisher?
Yes, I think it was Humphreys. Yes.
Yeah, someone Humphreys.
He also had a second character, wasn't it? Which was the cultural attaché to the Australian embassy.
It was like, oh well, yes, I remember that. Yes, but we used to have these gladioli, and he'd be throwing them out. Going back into the day, women weren't actually even allowed to go on stage. All women's parts had to be played by men. So there's an old kind of tradition in Britain about, transvestite. So
that goes back to Shakespeare too.
Yeah, yes, well, that's what I mean. Because women couldn't be on stage, only men could be. So they get the most effeminate-looking men, and they dress them up, and then they put them on stage, and so nobody really takes that kind of stuff seriously. But when you're looking at somebody like obviously Blair White, very different issue because it is confusing because it's a step beyond. Because back in the day they didn't have estrogen injections, they didn't have hormone replacement therapies or whatever the hell they use. And, they weren't women. They were just blokes with not plastic, just stuffed bras or whatever. So everyone knew it was a fraud. Nobody actually thought about that. But then everyone knows that the theatre's full of gay people.
Oh, of course, when you look at the Great Monty Python, I think some of those folks were gay. I don't think.
I don't
think the majority of them were.
No. Cleese definitely not. No,
the majority of them were not. Yeah,
Graham Chapman was Raven Queen.
Oh, he was. Okay. He's probably my favorite of all of them. And I love Graham. I just like I like that. And I'm glad we're segueing off of Blair because you know what? I even said it, big heads. And what I would do is I would stroke my own backside the entire time. Like, oh, I'm so cool. I got Blair White on. And the fact of the matter is she's the cool one. She's the one that took time to actually turn her eyes toward a really small little group of people here that like to have fun. And man, are we ever lucky, Brett? I'd rather be lucky than good. I mean, the Sargon thing, I'm not gloating. 15,000 views. Holy shit. It scared the freaking bejoggers out of me. I don't, he's got some pull is what we say in the South. He's got pull. When he does something, if he cuts a fart in your general direction, your subscribership will go up. Yeah. So anyway, do we want to talk about this thing, Dop, that you sent us? I know I showed the Britisher. Do you know that that's a real article?
I believe so. The subject of such brothels has been in the news quite a few times recently. So it's not just one-off occurrence. I believe at least in Spain there was some kerfuffle over similar brothel.
Well, and it kind of flows with what we were talking about, as Mrs. White is very sexy. So it appears that this is what it says here at MIC, Mike. I really, again, we don't, like Dop said, I believe it looks genuine. Maybe this will make it to the Weekend Stupid or some such show that is along those lines. It says the UK to open its first sex doll brothel, Britisher, Cabbage, the UK. Because men, and this is the problem I have with it the most. Well, I'll tell you my two problems and hear what y'all think about it. Is that because men need more ways to objectify women. Listen, folks. This is not a woman. It's not a woman. It's a piece of rubber. So other than they're saying they're objectifying women with pieces of rubber, the second problem I got with it is blokes are going to go in here and stick their willies in the same rubber hole over and over again. Isn't that kind of gross?
Yep, that is definitely one of my two main issues with that because there's no amount of bleach that's going to clear out the crusties inside of those things. But I mean, the real issue here that
maybe they'll insist on condoms.
Maybe.
No bareback.
They break, and they. Oh man, no! It's.
I mean, if they're made out of rubber, as soon as any form of oil touches them, they're going to. But worse than that, these dolls are stealing jobs from hardworking women. Shouldn't that be the issue they're worrying about? We could have an assortment of gorgeous women, but no, we're going to have dolls instead.
And look at these dolls. I'm going to show it again. I'm going to send the link out. But when you look at these, I mean, I can look at them right now and see that they're obviously rubber. But look at this unbelievable proportions. There is no way, as they get better at this, that a female. Look at those perfect nipples through that thing, and look at these unreal boobs on this little tiny, very young-looking girl. So that's terrible, Beardbarian. I'm glad you brought up. I didn't think about that. It's stealing jobs.
That's market forces, mate. That's market forces. That's free market capitalism for you.
Well, okay, can't disagree with that. But I'll still say man, that was a great point. It is. And why is prostitution illegal? You gotta be shitting me. Two grown people.
That's one thing I really like about Canada. Prostitution ain't illegal. The negotiation of cash for sex is illegal. But as long as you just walk up this much money and she goes yes, or she says this much money and you say yes, you're no longer negotiating. You've reached a contract agreement and it's not illegal.
You're shitting me.
No, it's beautiful. It's a wonderful loophole. There's no protections for sex workers, but as long as you're not trying to barter for the pay value, you can get a prostitute in Canada and not go to jail for it.
That makes me think of Randy from the Trailer Park Boys going to whore himself for hamburgers.
I'd whore myself for hamburgers.
Well, maybe a little bit.
It depends on if they
I would. See, look, you got me on a bad. Listen, and I got
McDonald's or Burger King. See,
I wanted to point out that in this article, actually, they refer to some prostitute worker union, or maybe not in this article, but somewhere else on the internet. And apparently, the prostitutes themselves were kind of okay with this whole idea. The whole protest was raised by just women advocates centered around feminist circles.
Man, and we're going to talk about this another day, but I have to give a very quick shout out to Push Buttons. He already enhanced that picture and sent me one that I was just glancing at myself. Yeah, thank you, Push Buttons. Believe me, we'll be talking about this a little bit Friday as a Beardbarian, BritisherR, myself, Cabbage Patch, Mark Doppelganger, and the rest of the Madcap crew get a chance to kind of peruse this thing. And yeah, but this is fun because in my mind, if I'm at a bar and I see a good-looking young lady and she notices me and maybe I dance a little bit with her and she sees I got great big ogre hands and, you know, I smile at her just right and listen to her stupid jokes and pretend I like her fucking life. And then she wants to, but I'm buying her drinks the whole time, right? She ain't buying a fucking drink, I guarantee you. I paid her cover charge and who knows what else. And then we go out in the car and she gives me a blowjob. Well, isn't that prostitution?
No, what I have provided those as a gift, and gift giving is not a return for sex.
What if I want to give her a gift of $25 for said blowjob?
Call it cab fare home because your place isn't a nice place to sleep, and then it's a gift again.
See, I mean, it's all baffling to me because they say that the oldest profession is prostitution. It's the first thing that somebody says, "Hey, I got a commodity that you want, and you have some fruit that I need to eat."
But Ogre, the problem is you can't really tax it because you can't monitor it. So
well, that's what it is.
Well, I think there was I think there has also been one or two very interesting divorces here in British law courts in London, where you've obviously got the City of London with very, very high-powered bankers who get a divorce settlement, and there were some divorces, you know, without there being any children involved, which went into the millions. And some of the newspapers went to the trouble of actually working out how much that meant that the wife earned per hour. And there it was basically sort of said, look, you know, there we are almost now beginning to touch on prostitution.
Good point.
It's absolutely true. Yeah. You got to break it down. If they haven't contributed to a business or the income, if they basically just been sponging like a welfare queen, then that's what you got to do, right? You got to look at it for what it is.
I'll tell you what else, BritisherR. I think that if anybody here, I do want to ask you, do you personally think prostitution should be illegal? And if not, do you think that it's illegal because of what we were just talking about, because they can't track the money and tax it?
You know, first off, should it be illegal? Of course, it should not be illegal.
Okay.
It's as far as I'm concerned, it is absolutely ridiculous that it should anyone should consider it to be illegal anywhere. I mean, it's called the oldest profession, and at the same time, we've been trying to get rid of it since year one and have not yet succeeded. So it should be telling us something that. But at the same time, regarding the taxable income, I can see that point, but I think there would be ways around that, wouldn't there?
There
well, but didn't you?
No, because
I've
if
got
you don't
something.
recognize it as a career or a job, then there's going to be no PAYE.
Well, but then
You're
we'd
not
have to say,
registering
okay,
for taxes. You're not registering
Right,
for
but-
anything. You're an
but
independent worker.
in Cabbage, then we would have to say that what about the lady that waits tables or the guy that is a bartender? You
Yeah, but
can't
she-
track that either. And it seems like they're picking on this thing, and
No,
for
it's
whatever
different.
reason.
No, but if you're working, you can regulate the company that you're working at. So, say McDonald's, you have to, you can regulate the company, and you can say, well, you must, present
Well,
your company
intentionally
accounts and things like that. But if you're an independent contractor, there really isn't much way that a company.
but
If you're
Cabbage,
dealing it, and don't forget, you see, the big problem is, Ogre, it's cash. That's why they want to
Right.
get rid of cash.
Well, that's what
Yes,
I'm saying.
but,
That's
you
why
know,
I mentioned
what
those
I
two
mean
those
is
two
there would be a
professions.
way around that, for example, by, say, issuing licenses.
Well, they do
Well, but
that in
still,
Amsterdam, and they regulate it.
So you
Maybe
wouldn't
it
be
doesn't-
taxing the income, but you would still effectively be selling a license,
Yeah.
which
Well,
would, in
but-
a way, be a poll tax system.
And maybe it's not translating into British, but what I'm saying is in America, bartenders and waitresses or waiters, they get so many tips, there's no way of tracking it. It's not like what you're saying, Cap. So I was a bar back, was my first job. I didn't pay taxes on what I really made. You had to say
Yeah,
you
but
made
your
something.
income was taxed. Yeah, but your
Well, but
income
my income was $1.50 an hour, and now waitresses in this state make, I think, $2.10 because they say we can pay them this small wage because they're going to get tips. I mean,
and they're meant to declare their tips as additional income, but they
they
never
don't
do.
know what right.
No.
So see what I'm
But like
saying?
I said, the whole point is you can't prove it. So that's the reason that they don't like it, is because they can't tax it.
But there's other professions that are the same way, and they pick on people, be it a man that's out plying his trade at the truck stop or some chick in Las Vegas that is $1,000 an hour hooker. I mean, why are they?
Yeah, but
picking-
remember, there's also a moral aspect to this, the so-called moralizing of the the issue. So yeah,
That's what I was prodding for.
Yeah. I mean, I do get that point, but I think they're only using the moral issue because they want to shut down this free income. They want to get people into
Yes, but
an
what is
industry
interesting-
whereby they can tax them.
What is interesting
Even
in
if
that
it's
regard is that the
$1.50 an hour.
moral issue these days is not coming from the old camp. Usually it has always been the Christians who have been the great moralizers. But Christianity really has very much waned over the last 10 years or so as a political force. But we are still seeing the same sort of political push in order to try and keep prostitution as illegal as possible. But it is now coming from the feminists.
Yeah.
So the
So
feminists have
Captain
in a way...
Colepile, sorry,
Sorry?
go on.
The feminists have effectively replaced the moral right. The religious right has been replaced by feminist ideology when it comes to kind of anything regarding pornography, prostitution, that sort of thing.
Yes, because women aren't actually in control of their own bodies, right? That it's actually now women telling women what they should do with their bodies.
But more importantly, they're also telling them what choices they're not allowed to take, which is rather ironic, given that feminism is supposed to be about choice.
Precisely. It's always been hypocrisy. It's what they do. It's what they do so well.
What did Captain Colepile want? I didn't see it.
Captain Colepile put up an interesting question in the side chat here. What about trafficked girls? Wouldn't be legalizing prostitution be making it into legal slavery?
No, not at
No,
all.
the trafficking of people is illegal. I mean, that's
Right,
already illegal. So.
You can make
Well, it is, but when we've got like these young girls that are,
But
that are
look,
getting,
I would like to
this.
try to answer that. I will say this. It's very legal for me to go to work for General Motors and to put a rivet in somewhere, on the line. But it's very illegal for someone to kidnap me and to force me to work in a factory putting said rivet in. So we don't need laws to change this coal pile.
I mean,
We
it
already
is already illegal as it is. Yes.
right. And if we just made prostitution legal, because look, who was it, Britisher? I think Seneca. Who was it that said, I believe it was a Greek philosopher, that to try to make illegal what is wanted by the populace is an exercise in futility?
Was that Aristotle? I'm not sure.
It was one of the wise ones for sure.
But yeah,
It was in
when
English.
you-
It wasn't Plato. Sorry,
Well, yeah, but Plato was a moralizer, wasn't he?
he was.
He actually complained about Greek sculpture. He said that the Greeks they should stick more to something stylish, like the Egyptian type sculpture, which wasn't quite that realistic. Whereas the Greek sculpture was much too sort of fleshen. He saw too much eroticism in it. So what we today see is the kind of, one of the high points of classical art, he saw as debauchery and filth. He was kind of a Mary Whitehouse figure in that regard.
That's what made it so good.
Please, you do like Mary Whitehouse.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen her drowned publicly, but yeah.
Like a cat in a bag.
Yeah, with a brick in the bag.
You do need to know. We need to inform the people of the colonies here that Mary Whitehouse had a profound effect on Great Britain. Here was somebody who really threw her weight about, and she managed to get a bit of a sort of a mob going behind her. The tabloids had obviously sniffed good stories, kind of started backing her, and that turned her into a bit of a political force. So she sort of was this arch Puritan who started finding fault everywhere, and her cabal was the the Viewers and Listeners Association. So basically, they complained about anything that was on the radio or anything that was on the television.
Pen Brigade. Remember? They called it the Green Pen Brigade.
Could well. I've not heard that one before. But they were truly hideous, and of course they had a profound effect on British media. And they also kind of sued several publications out of existence. I remember there was a sort of early gay magazine which they took to court, and they just knew that the magazine wouldn't be able to fight them, and thereby, just with sheer legal costs, they put them out of business. And just to give you an idea, Mary Whitehouse kind of gloated about those sort of things. She was really kind of pleased if she knew she had ruined somebody.
She was odious. Well, she was like a social justice warrior. She was almost like
she was an early form. But yes, she was the. But in this case, she was the religious right version of that.
Yeah, she was like the primordial ooze of social justice concept.
Well, I mean, I am kind of working on a clip in which I kind of am trying to point out that some of the techniques and approaches of social justice actually come from people like her. Because you have to see that there are intersections here. Whereas people always like to just refer to cultural Marxism. And they just sort of say, oh, well, social justice, it's all the methodology of the political left and things like that. But what people don't seem to see is that the driving force in social justice is really feminism. That is the key power at the center of it. And feminism has for decades been hand in glove with anything that sort of, tries to purport any sort of censorship in regards to sexuality or any such thing. And now that the religious right has kind of died down, it has now effectively become their beast. And they are very much behaving in exactly the same way that the White Houses once did. And some of the techniques seem to have come sort of, entirely into social justice, but that's where they came from. It is actually in anti-pornography censorship that it originated.
I wanted to ask regarding that, how come that the feminism, which around the second wave used to be sex positive, and they were more or less pro-freedom and pro-sex anywhere, anytime, with anybody, turned into this third wave kind of Puritan feminism we have today?
That's because they actually realized that men were getting the better end of the deal on that one.
Well,
because men could fuck whoever they wanted without
I'm
obligation.
not sure there really was that much sex positivity within second wave feminism. I mean, Andrea Dworkin, who is perhaps the most quoted feminist ever. So basically, she is the one who coined the term sex object for feminists. Andrea Dworkin was the one who basically concluded that all sex was rape. That basically any form of penetrative sex was rape.
That's
So-
that fat woman?
Yes. So procreation be damned, all sex was rape. So it's very difficult to kind of see the queen bee of second wave feminism, which Andrea Dworkin no doubt is.
What a nasty,
It's
nasty.
very difficult to then conclude that there was much sex positivity around.
I think she was really the first stage of. She was the beginning of third wave. Germaine Greer, I think, was the queen bee of second phase. Don't you think? Because that's the whole point. It kind of migrated. It went that next level of insanity into the third wave, and I think she was, she was the standard bearer to take it into the third
don't
wave.
start me on Germaine Greer. I mean, I just recently heard a speech of hers where she was saying we need more women in the military and things like that. And I remember 10, 15 years ago, her hearing a speech by Germaine Greer in which he said, what has gone wrong with feminism? Surely the idea was never to get more women into the military. So yeah, she doesn't have a problem
being
with
consistent.
contradicting herself, does she?
No, she doesn't have a consistency issue.
And I just cannot stand that woman. But but again, she was, of course, for years, and she may again be. I don't know. She on and off. She was professor at Warwick University for gender studies. So if you're wondering where are all these people coming from who are now poisoning academia, well, it is because we let people like her loose in the universities.
Yes, absolutely. But then again, don't forget, she was also denied the opportunity to speak at a couple of universities because she disagreed with Anita Sarkeesian. So, I mean, like I said, she's only second phase. She's not.
I think
she's not radical enough anymore.
I think she is being shunned by the universities, by the student unions.
Yeah.
Not because of Anita Sarkeesian, but because of she is seen as a trans rights denier or something like that.
That's right. Yes, it's a trans issue. That's
because she doesn't accept that men who
transfer.
Well, whatever the word is, into women, she doesn't accept that they are women. And of course, she has her own reasons for not accepting that they are women. The reason, there are many people who wouldn't accept that they are women, myself included. But
I don't think I'm a woman. I don't quite comfortable with that realization.
Germaine Greer's reason, you have to look at it from the perspective of a feminist to understand why Germaine Greer doesn't accept them. The reason she doesn't accept them is because they haven't grown up under the oppression of the patriarchy. Therefore, they have not had the necessary amount of suffering as a woman to be able to call themselves a proper woman. So that is really her line of thinking.
It's a big victim contest as I listen to this. That's what it gets, because you got Anita Sarkeesian's there and she thinks that trans are sun shines out of their assholes. So, give me a break. It's like, I think about when I was young, if people acted like this in school, like kids, the teacher would bust your ass until you grow up, snowflake. We didn't allow this. And now it's all of a sudden, like you said, Brett, it was so, with the way you put it, they were unleashed. I mean, gracious.
Yeah, I think with Germaine Greer, you see, it's LGBTQ. There's no F in there. There's no feminist represented in that list. So,
well, yeah, I mean, it's LGBTQ and whatever other letters you want to add.
Plus exactly. With the flip side on the 69 and whatnot.
Plus or minus.
And I'll tell you what, folks, this is riveting. I love this stuff. It's been not heavy, but eventually, before this stream ends, the Beardbarian is here. I shot out a link, and I'm going to shoot out a link again. He's being low-key today because we are going to have him on as a guest. He's got a small channel. He just started up something like a month ago, a couple weeks ago. And
it's been 2.5 weeks.
I'd love to see it grow. He's the kind of guy that writes stories, and if you like him, I'm sure, I hate to do this without asking, but I'm pretty sure that if you put in the comments, hey, Beardbarian, you know, you rock and your dick's 14 inches long and I want to be just like you. Would you write a story for me? He might do it. But that said, regardless of penis size, just go check out his stuff. It's really entertaining and I would love to see his channel grow. We are going to talk today about this Beardbarian.
Oh, yes.
Because
I brought mine over to the side as well.
I've never had a beard in my life, and it was so itchy until yesterday, brother. I mean it. And when I made this very simple concoction, and look, I'm getting it derailed. So when we're done talking about feminism and all sex is rape and that woman, that's the woman with the big hook nose, the fat woman. It's like, that's who you were talking about, Britt?
Andrea Dworkin, yes. She is the mother of feminist ideology.
She's horrible. She was saying, I listened to her for about 2 hours about maybe 9 months ago. I just found some of her stuff, was listening to it while I played Bubble Break on my phone. And she was saying like, well, we thought we needed penises until we found out we could do cunnilingus also. There, I'm trying to be polite after I've already been so rude earlier. But
you know, if I can just, because you've just brought back a memory. There is something that, you know, I wish I could have forgotten, and I've just remembered again. And that is, again, when we're on the sex positivity issue, Germaine Greer, her most famous book, of course, is The Female Eunuch. And in that book, there is a line, I mean, I'm paraphrasing here, but whereby she says, men regard women merely as receptacles for their bodily fluids.
Man, you don't tell me that, man.
Just wait for it. Much like a human spittoon. And
Well,
yeah,
I like that analogy.
it paints an image, doesn't it?
Well, and she's saying that every woman that I've loved, which it's only been 3 in my life, but every woman that I've ever made love with, I was using them for a spittoon. I take exception to that.
Yes, I think so would just about every man. But that's what I mean. So basically, these are the second wave feminists. So I think we kind of and of course those are the feminists we let loose in the universities. Yeah.
So, Britisher, are we even going to try to invite Lacey Green on our show at any point? I mean, 2 years from now, when we actually had a bunch of people on, are we ever going to let her even on our show, or are we just going to not even ask her?
She wouldn't take it.
Lacey quotation.
Oh, she'd take it if she saw it, mate. I guarantee. If she saw it, she'd take it and love it.
Lacey quotation marks spittoon Green.
Yeah. Because I'd use that bitch as a spittoon. God save me for saying that out loud. But what a piece of work. You know what I do? I don't even want to say it. Now I'm getting my ire. I hate her. I would, if it would be what's called in America a grudge fuck.
Oh my God.
Like trying my desperate best to make it unpleasant for that bitch and pleasant for me. Anyway, I don't like her because
think happy thoughts, Ogre. Think happy thoughts.
Well, look, Brett, you're telling me. You're right. And the reason that it bums me out is you're telling me that men don't have feelings, is what they're saying. That we are not allowed to love.
Okay, well, here's an interesting one, right? Going back to that, the thing you were saying about the sex dolls, right? You brought up the sex doll image. Well, how is that any different than, you know, women with the dildo parlor or something? Right? Would that be any different?
Good for the goose, good for the gander. Hi, Day. I didn't think you'd show up. Thank you for coming. Now that Dave's here, I'm gonna break in to say something real quick because I think, in fact, Dave, you probably got something to say about what we're talking about. But I do have 2 small announcements before we move on to how Dave puts her makeup on and makes her hair look good, and how the Beardbarian and I make it so we can have luscious, gorgeous beards and they don't itch.
I didn't put any makeup on today. I'm actually feeling real shit, so I'm not on camera.
Look, y'all gonna see it next week sometime. Well, I don't want to give it too much. I'll give it away. I will take my glasses off and you'll notice that I'm going to put eyeliner on because I'm going to be celebrating a very dear person to me that hardly knows me at all, the Rageaholic. And I'm going to give it a shot, Day. I'm going to put a little eyeliner on just to see what it's like.
Oh, yeah, might as well.
I'm getting worried now.
Well, don't call me a mincer, mate. I'm just saying. And since I did that day, and you're just
into an Egyptian pharaoh in stages.
Okay, you just get worried when he starts putting the lipstick on.
Well, and I'm trying my best to think of ways.
Inspired much by Sargon?
I want to see that purple dress you were talking
You'll be
about.
Ramses the
Oh,
second.
mercy, you heard that? Oh, good. I got to remember you're listening to this sweet little sister of mine.
I'm always listening. I watch the
Yeah,
show every time it's on.
No, we're probably not going to wear a dress because the Britisher will discontinue his mateship with me. But I want to just put this out there really quick. Day, I want you to have that chair. And Beardbarian is a friend of mine. There's people that I know that they could use a little hand, but I have always wanted to quote Count Dankula, who was quoting someone else. I like to sing for my supper. So if the Beardbarian says right now, I've not sprung this on him yet, that it's okay for me to use this formula, I will have some hair tonic and skin tonic and beard tonic, which is the Beardbarian's formula, for auction, soap also, and maybe a t-shirt or two. And if people are watching and they want to have a little piece of the show and something they can wash up and brush up with and makes them smell good and feel good, all of these things will be announced the days that we're doing auctions, and all of the money will go to a good cause. First and foremost day will be your chair, sweetie. So I figured we could sing for our supper and get you something cool without just like begging for it. You know?
That is also cool because usually people, when they donate, they don't get anything in return. This way they could be getting something cool.
Yeah, well, actually, we could get a video from you for once.
Yeah, I know, right?
She just did one, Cabby.
I did one not too long ago. I am in need of another one. I'm just been so uninspired recently because I've been really, really in a bad way with like my health.
As the
recently.
Beardbarian and the Ogre knows, I'm working on something.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he talked to you about it too, Day?
Wait, no, I think is it.
Well, we will talk about it later. We don't want to give it
anything
anything out online.
today yet. No, I haven't mentioned this today yet.
Okay. He will, Day. He has a brilliant idea that we're not going to let the cat out of the bag right now like I usually do on every damn thing. But Day, we were talking earlier as we transition into more love and life and hygiene, personal hygiene. How do you feel? You know, Blair White's going to be on Monday.
Yeah,
and,
I'm excited about that.
How do you feel about that? And don't give any like hard questions the way you're going to give her, but is there something, how do you feel about it? Good, bad, and different?
Oh, I feel good. I think it's going to be really interesting. I haven't really pinpointed any questions I want to ask her yet. I started watching her like when her channel first started up. I think I found her through Bearing actually. And I really liked her. I feel like recently she's been a little bit too far right of me as far as some of her opinions go, but I have to watch more of her videos because I kind of stopped a while back when she started getting, I don't know, honestly she got a little bit annoying.
She's right of Scott Pressler.
Yeah, but I mean, what about her as a sort of entity, Dave? For want of a better word.
Well, I don't know. I mean, she did get really big, which I don't know.
No, I meant her sexual entity. Sort of persona.
I think that's fine. It's not really unique though. Like I know trans people IRL, and so I'm like used to that. She's definitely an opinionated trans person. I think her opinions are what differentiates her. I mean, she's definitely a good-looking woman, and I think that got a lot of notoriety for her. Because I don't think she would have nearly as big of a voice if she wasn't as good looking as she is. But yeah, no, as far as her as an entity, I think she's, I don't know, fine. I don't know.
And we're going to delve into that, but I'm glad you asked that, Cab, because that's what I've been worn with in my own heart. It's funny that we all consider, because here it is with me, it is a classification. When I see Riley Dennis, it's like, holy shit, that's a train wreck. And then if Blair White walked in the room and I had no idea who this human being is, I would be trying to get her phone number.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people these days say they're like trans, or at least on the gender spectrum in some way that's not like not even straight, but cis. But I don't know. Trans is not unusual to me. I mean,
putting a dress on does not make you trans. It just makes you a transvestite. That's what it is. You know, I mean, that's what it always used to be anyway.
No, you're right.
I mean, if you identify as the opposite sex, I think that's totally fine. And if you transition, fine, whatever. I don't know. I grew up in northern U.S. state, so it's never been a thing for me. I've never been bothered by it. it was something that was like, oh, that makes sense.
And now, look, that was so quick because you weren't here when we were talking about it, and I'm not trying to gloat anymore. I just kind of wanted to hear what you thought, and we don't talk a whole lot. But now, Beardbarian turned me on to this day, and I don't know. I would say that because underneath my beard, it's not. I don't have psoriasis or anything, but I get no air there, no light there anymore, and it was getting dry, and it was very hard to manage. So the Beardbarian has a little how-to video. And he takes coconut. In fact, do you want to tell him while I show? Because I'm presenting
totally.
Everybody. In fact, I'll present while I do what you're talking about here.
Absolutely. So Ogre here's made a much larger portion than I do. I've got a little container here. You can see there's not much in there. What you end up doing with this stuff is you take about 2 tablespoons of coconut oil and you add in 4 or 5 drops of different oils, scented oils. I tend to use, I've got pine and peppermint oil here. And you just mix it in there and you get it inside of that coconut oil. And the coconut oil, as you rub it into your beard, into your scalp, on your face, all year round, it protects not only the hair, but your skin as well. And prevents biting winds, any sort of heat damage. It's an absolutely great thing. And the fun thing about it is if you really get it on your face in the summertime, you can tan like fucking crazy. Smell phenomenally.
It's like a tanning oil.
And you can feel it. And Beardbarian, I did follow your recipe. What I did was I have large essential oils for my soaps, and when I poured the lemongrass in there, I poured so much in there that I dumped out to like just a little bit left, and then I had to put that much in there so that it wasn't overwhelmingly strong. So I would suggest
the first 4 times I made it, I did that too.
When you see him put 6 drops of one and 6 drops of the other because it was weaker, but he wanted a little. Follow the directions carefully. Get a dropper. Don't be like me and dump a freaking cap load of it in there because I can feel
pure
it.
Essential oils can burn.
But that
can feel
peppermint
it right
oil, if you use peppermint oil, it stimulates the follicles of the hair and actually causes the hair to grow thicker and stronger. So it's incredibly beneficial. It's totally worth it. And the stuff melts. I actually did the conversion for you, Ogre, at 10 degrees Celsius or 50 degrees Fahrenheit. It starts liquefying. So you don't even have to keep it in. You can do it in a double boiler to get it melted. But when you're actually applying it, you just got to put it in your hand like Ogre did there, smear it together and rub it all over. It's freaking glorious. And if you mix scents like I use pine and mint, the pine's going to go ahead and stick around longer than the smell of the mint, so it actually transition scent notes while you're wearing it, so you get the proper cologne effect too, so you can be smelling like you are.
Oh, and I have lemongrass in mine, and I would say use whatever it is that you like. I'm going to try a scent called Butt Naked and another one called Asian Pear and Lily that I really like.
Also, if you use rosemary essential oil, that also stimulates hair growth. So if you
I don't want any hair, girl. I tell you what, I'm glad my stuff fell out. I won't
as you rub your head.
Well, but it's because I do like a nice shiny dome. I like my head to look nice. I do need a haircut so that it's all uniform. But I don't.
On your head when you go out farming.
Be sure to wash your hands now because we don't want hair on them either.
No, my beard's pretty thick, but I'll say this: even in my hands, when I'm telling you, Beardbarian, I use lotions a lot because I'm Jewish, man. I get, I like ashy, but you can't see it on me quite like a black person, but I do have that sand blood in me, and so as I was using this, it blows cocoa butter away.
Oh yeah,
and it seems like that's coconut, but it's got all that stuff in it, and this is just natural. Straight to the heart of what you need is just coconut oil and your essential oils for scent.
Yeah, and another fun fact about coconut oil. Sorry, I know a lot about this stuff because I used to work at Whole Foods in the whole body department, so I used to know all about the supplements and like the body care stuff. Coconut oil also is one of the few oils that actually penetrates the hair shaft, so it can actually get down to the core.
Girl, I can feel it right now. I had a couple girls over last night. Well, I had my wife and another girl, and I was putting this on. They were watching me make it. And I was playing Beardbarian stuff. They love you too, bro. They were both like, "Oh, he's so cute. Dude. He's so handsome. Look at his big hands. He must have a and whatever." And so I would put it on, and before they were smelling my beard, and they were feeling it. And then I put it on, and man, I won't lie, I did like it, but they were smelling my beard and playing with it because right now I can feel it so soft. There's no conditioner that I've used on my beard yet that takes this kinky mess and makes it to where it just feels so nice, like eider down. Is that weird enough for you, British? Or are we going so far into the strange closet that
Yeah, it's definitely one struggles for words. The only thing I could think of was was that a Kilner jar?
This is the jar that my chutney came in. Yes, sir.
Oh, so that, okay. No, it looks different. It looks as if it's not a brass lid. You know, it
Well,
kind
I've
of,
got a different lid on it. Jenny washed the lid, and so I just grabbed it. We can a lot. I've got hundreds of these, so I just grabbed the lid.
You must have Kilner jars otherwise.
Oh yeah,
I
well, it's a
believe-
ball top.
I believe they are actually an American invention.
I think that the
Once in a
ball
while,
company does get credit.
Colonials invent something.
Yeah, it's either. Yeah, nice. And look, we don't have to talk about grooming all day. I just want. I mean it. I love natural stuff, and it's rare that when someone has something that they say that either A, I don't know what it is, or B, I try it and it's like, oh, that's not. But man, my head right now. I'm just telling you. If you like cocoa butter, and then I'll end this. I'd kind of like to ask Day a little bit of something about her makeup and whatnot, because I've gotten so many comments on how pretty her eyes are and stuff. But everything. I mean, even the little bit of fringe, the tonsure that I have now feels like eiderdown also. So Day, everybody mentions your eyes.
Oh, okay.
Everybody's like, in fact, there was a dude that was like, oh, Dave's dad has the most beautiful eyes. They're so lovely. I had to watch this 3 times so that I could just focus in on her eyes. And I fast forwarded it to her parts and then paused it and gazed into her eyes. It was a little weird, but I'm sure he meant the best of it.
That's cool.
Is that just your natural look? Is there something you do to enhance your the way that your eyes look?
I use eyeliner and eyeshadow and mascara, like a lot of people do. I just I use this is funny to be talking about with you guys, but I just use eyeliner on my waterline and mascara and eyeshadow.
Well,
I am here now, Day. You can.
Yeah, there we go.
Another female.
And I'll tell you what, girls, I would say, I can't speak for Cabbage or the Britisher. In fact, they probably wouldn't like me to do, but I could say the Beardbarian without even asking. He's metrosexual like me. We're not homos, but we want to look good. We're not going to go anywhere, looking like a scrub, or with our beards not looking good. And, so it's important to us too. Maybe not the makeup thing, but it is nice to for anyone watching to know how. So anyway, Carrie, you're here now.
Skincare is just as important for men as it is for women.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
For
Just as long
sure.
as they don't do too much of it.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
I'll
You don't
quit
want to
combing my
be
beard.
prettier. You don't want to be prettier than the females in your life. That's for certain.
Yeah,
If your skin looks
yeah.
better than your
You
woman's,
get certain celebrities. You get certain male celebrities that just seem to be a bit over-groomed. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
How come nobody ever needed it before? Blokes were quite, women seem to be more than happy with men when they weren't doing all this nonsense. This is all corporate, not bollocks. They're trying to sell you moisturizer. They're trying to sell men.
but
They managed to sell it all to women. And now they just want to try and sell it to men because they run out of a marketplace.
I wonder how much moisturizer Robert Mitchum and Anthony Quinn use.
Exactly. Fuck that.
Well,
I'm never
but I'll
doing
say-
it. And you
I
can be
gotta
a
say
metrosexual all you want, but you're not fucking adopting me into your cult.
It's been so long ago that I've got to say this, Cap and Britisher. Herman Melville wrote that any man, this is what he wrote in 1844. He wrote, any man that would anoint his head with a hair tonic so that he probably smells of that tonic must have a quaggy spot in him somewhere.
A quaggy.
In other words, he's queer.
A quaggo.
Yeah, well, can you imagine the people at Agincourt sitting there, worrying about their fucking dental care and the moisturizing regime?
I think they were more
Shite,
concerned
bros.
with French
Fuck
cavalry.
that. Spare me.
Now I feel bad I did this. But you know what? I think that grooming and taking care of oneself is important. And for so long, men had 2 choices. It was either you're a mincer or you got to just, I want to smell good. I'm a delicate flower.
Yeah.
Even the
right.
Vikings
Right.
bathed once a week
Okay.
before everyone else
Okay.
was.
Yeah.
Ogre, listen to me.
bathed once a year if they needed it.
Ogre.
Yes, mate.
Listen to me. You are not a delicate flower.
He's an
You're a
ogre
fucking
flower.
ogre, for God's sake. How
Ogre
can you
flower.
call yourself an ogre and then declare yourself a delicate flower?
I was looking for a reaction like I just got. Yeah, I'm a delicate
Walking
flower, all right.
contradiction.
I was picking chicken dung up with my hands earlier today.
Yeah.
You know that there is a flower. I think it's in South America. It's called the corpse flower. It's very beautiful, but it smells like a dead body.
Death. It's a death flower, isn't it? Isn't that the other
But,
word?
yeah, it's something like that. It's something to do with corpse or death or
I
something to that degree.
I remember there is a flower. I think it's somewhere in Indonesia. It is the largest flower in the world, and David Attenborough went to see it once, and he couldn't actually stand near it very long because he says it smells like decaying flesh.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really bad, but that's how it's a predatory or a carnivorous flower. So it attracts like those. Well, no, the bugs that come in and like help decompose dead things, they're attracted to the smell, so they come in, and then there's like a bucket type thing or a cup underneath the lid of the flower, and they go towards the smell because it's at the bottom, like a bee going to a normal flower. So they go towards it, and then they get down into this little funnel, and they can't get back out, and then the flower just digests them.
Well, I hijacked it, Beardbarian, and I think that we got in what we want. I tell you one thing: I wiped my hands off with alcohol. And just to get and it's still, even that I did that, my skin's so soft. But I'm gonna let it go wherever I'm gonna be here until 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and I'm gonna disappear like a fart in a noisemaker. So I did that because I will continue once in a while to ask the girls and the guys that come on, what do they do to make themselves feel good? Because Nachi Free was on the other day, and here's the fact: so many things in life can make you feel bad. You go to your job and your boss is a dick, and you got to go through rush hour traffic or ride your bike to London or whatever it is that you do to get to work, and then you got to deal with this, and so all these things pile up on us. The wife, you didn't do this or whatever. The husband is on you, and so all these things build up. But there are these little things we can do, like take care of ourselves, and look good and feel good. It doesn't matter. I mean, I would say if you're really overweight, you could do something about it, but it doesn't matter if you were born like me and you're rather ugly. You can still do things that make your ugliness even be a little appealing. And that's all the reason I wanted to do this. I would like for folks to know that even us crazies that are so insane that we go on the air and let a bunch of people look into our personal lives, we need these things too that take off the weights of the world and allow us to, soldier through.
It is true. It's very important to do like personal little things that make you happy, because sometimes that's all there is.
Yeah, but you see, my problem is why people actually think it makes them happy, and that's usually down to sort of corporate sponsorship and all the other things that tell you that if you don't do it, that somehow there's something wrong with you. And,
the corporation that gave me this is Beardbarian, and he didn't charge me a dime. He just put the information out there. This probably with the oil that's in here, and this is probably 10 cents, Beardbarian, 10 cents.
Yeah, it's totally worth a minor investment.
That is true.
You know about Bernays, mate. You know about Bernays. You know how social manipulation,
here we go.
The whole freedom, what do they call them? Freedom flames, whatever, with the cigarettes and things like that. You can manipulate people into thinking that they have to be a certain way.
Well, that's definitely true, Cabbage.
To me.
I just read the side chat, Brett. I just read it.
Hold on, Cabbage. I want to touch on that real quick, because it's definitely true what you're saying. Like, corporatism can play a lot into your values and what you think makes you feel good. But like a lot of times, I think me and Ogre and everybody are just talking about more like personal things, like even going for a walk or like listening to music. Because I think you're doing a cynic sort of take on it, and I get what you're saying.
No, I'm not. There was a specific thing, because this is about products and things, right? This is about
the product.
I kind of agree.
It doesn't cost you a penny.
He made the product himself.
Well, yeah, but you still have to. But you got to buy the product, and you got to think that you need the product in order to do it. Going for a walk has got nothing to do with product. It's got to do with your sense of self, and your awareness, and your presence of being on the planet.
This might have been, I said 10. This might be, if you include the jar, it might be 8 cents. It comes from coconut oil that my wife uses to fry donuts in, and then some essential oil I have for my business. But that said, I would equate this with a walk, because what I just did, the way I can smell the lemongrass, I feel my beard is soft. I look at it and it actually looks much fuller and better. And so it's I'm not trying to argue, but it is the little things.
Look, the next time the war comes and you don't have your coconut essential oils, and you don't feel like you can go above the trenches because you don't feel like you're presenting yourself well to the enemy.
Really,
and let's see how well that fucking works.
Corned beef, cabbage.
Sorry,
But
but
it
it's
was-
bollocks.
of course, I'm
It's
sorry, but
fucking
that analogy limps a bit. Because
Yes.
of course, when you go back in history and you think of, say, the Napoleonic Wars, and you think of just how much effort the various gentlemen put into their uniforms and their appearance.
That's right,
yeah,
but that was
we
to
were
retain
quite-
their authority.
We were quite good at warfare then, even though pretty much the entire officer class was made up of fops.
Hey,
Cabbage.
man.
Yes, but I
Cabbage.
can assure you that they did not fail to go to war if they didn't have enough mustache, wax.
Get him, Carrie.
Cabbage. I work in the beauty industry, so I come into contact with a lot of vain people. The exact kind of people, that you're alluding to that are everywhere, and you're right, they are everywhere. Because I've been a makeup artist for almost 14 years, so when somebody sits in my chair, I have them there for at least an hour and a half to 2 hours with just basic makeup, or if I'm doing any kind of special effects makeup, then they're there for upwards of 8 to 12 hours. So
Please tell me that these people are women.
No, not always. No.
Oh,
Well,
no.
when it
Especially
comes
not with
to
special effects makeup.
When it comes to
Yeah.
special effects makeup, it's different. But when it comes to like beauty type thing, it's going to be women. I mean, I've only
Thank you.
done. I think I've only done maybe 10 men in my entire career. But
You've
it
done
wasn't.
10 men in your career? Hey, British
Hallelujah.
Slayer,
It hasn't been makeup. It's just been they've come in and they want to like they have unruly eyebrows.
Oh,
It
no,
looks
I
like
thought
they
you
ha-
meant you did 10 men. No, it's okay.
We won't discuss
You know what, Carrie?
that.
You could do my makeup sometime.
that
That'd
was
be fantastic.
That was so stupid. That was so stupid. I was just trying to ask the Britisher because I think he might have been
Oh,
poking at me.
Yeah.
Is that a no on the eyeliner, Britt? Is that what you were saying?
Well,
Maybe give that a miss.
Okay, I probably will.
The thing that I worked
same
with the
with the
most
dress,
with
please.
I'm
drag
down
queens
for
and
it.
drag kings. I taught women how to put on makeup and costumes to look like men as well. So it goes in all kinds of directions.
Yeah, and I just
Special
like to have a
effects
laugh.
makeup is really cool. I love that sort of thing.
It's so much
It's
fun.
probably a little much for me to do things like that. To me, one of the reasons that I was thinking of it is because what better way for me to demonstrate that there are Blair Whites in the world and there are Riley Dennises by coming out with my beard and some eyeliner, maybe a little rouge, and a
You
dress
see,
and
I
high
think-
heels and
I
going,
think
"Hi,
that-
everybody, I'm queer. Let me use the ladies' room."
I think what is happening here is that Nachi Free is having a bad influence on you. He's bringing out the rather theatrical side in the Ogre.
Well, I love
There's
that guy.
nothing
man.
wrong
He
with
is-
theatrics.
And Nachi's amazing. He had that mask on for a little over 2 hours that night before he just went and took it off and was like, well, and he was drinking wine and he admitted right on air he's not a big drinker or a smoker. And he was buzzed. Nachi is one of the most genuine people that I've ever met. I mean, he came on with a bunch of people he didn't even know and started, talking about some real personal stuff that I'm sure helped some folks that watched it.
Yeah, I hope
Amazing.
it did. I feel like we kind of delved into a thing that isn't super common, but we both knew about. I like that guy a lot. He was really cool.
You did super good that night, Sweet Thing. I mean, I didn't know that I didn't know that about yourself either. And you were also very brave to just jump in and say, hey, man, it's life and I deal with it too.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to Blair White, she obviously has put some major effort into the way that she wants to look, and I give her mad props because it's really not easy to make a man resemble the features of a woman. So she's definitely put in some work to be able to teach herself how to contour and
That's why I
stuff
want
like
to ask her
that.
about her makeup skills because that's
That's at least she spends at least an hour every single time.
Yeah, but
Ever.
also
And I don't
she-
want to give anything
she
away.
just
I have
looks-
some questions too. One of the main questions. Go ahead, Dave. While I look. This
Oh,
up.
I was just gonna say she looks very feminine too. Like she started hormones, I think at 20, she said, and also she showed pictures of her younger when she was a guy, and
Just watch that. Yeah.
she just looked feminine from the get-go. So I don't think it takes as much effort with her to just probably the normal amount of effort it takes any woman to look made up.
Well, when it comes to contouring makeup, I mean, just go and look at some of the Google images, some of the horror shows. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I've seen plenty of women like just biological women that are out in public and are using contour makeup, and they look like, oh God, their features are so cut. They almost look like a cyborg or something, or they have a dirty face. So she's definitely put in the effort to refine that skill.
She got the skills, and she also contours her boobs.
It's the hip. Really, she does contour her boobs.
Yeah, with makeup, you can tell.
I don't want to ruin it, but I do have two things that everybody's asked her. I just want to hear it from her, and it has to do with her hips and her breasts. Because when I look at her, it's confusing to me because her hips are wider than her shoulders, and that is not something that a man can accomplish.
Well,
unless
whenever
he's really fat.
Her being able to start taking those hormones so early and already having a small frame. Like if you look at her pictures from when she was a kid, when she was a boy, when she like presented herself as a boy, she was very, very slight. So
it's also important to keep in mind that the human body doesn't finish its pubescent stage until you hit about 25, 26 years old, and the external physical development doesn't finish until about 24, and then the last development is in the human brain itself. So if she started at 20, it's not entirely unreasonable that the body wouldn't redistribute its weight to accomplish that. But it's definitely something that makes me curious.
Yeah, but that's bone structure. No, that's actual.
That's where I'm curious.
That's totally different.
Mm-hmm.
What is different?
Well, I mean,
the distribution on the hips.
Yeah, I mean, normally you would actually end up with bone reduction, not increase, and you certainly wouldn't have a pelvis reconstitute itself into a different shape.
No, but it would be fat distribution. Could be like the underlying skeletal system is the same, but fat distribution would change with hormones.
Well, possibly, but.
Well, yes,
definitely.
Fat distribution would only change insofar that it would now introduce a new trend. But the established fat distribution surely would already be there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, because the thing is, it doesn't match up with the legs. So normally you would end, like you get those women with the, they stand up from the table and you wonder when their ass is going to end. And then it goes down and down and down, right? But
Cabbage, we're blowing our wad too. We're blowing our wad. We got to quit talking about Blair because she's going to be here Monday, and we all got a lot of questions. No, it's my fault. I just fell right into it because I'm shocked for a lot of reasons. It is her hips are part of the reason, but
I'm sure she does something to help it along. I'm not saying it's entirely natural. But
she'll have a lot of enlightenment for us, though, because it sounds like you really know what you're talking about, Dave. But she's been through it, so she'll have a lot of enlightenment as to how that's happened. If it was and I'm thinking it's got to be right because women store fat differently than men. So if you start pumping female hormones into the body, you're gonna. I mean, women have twice as much fat to muscle ratio.
Down the line that you said you didn't want to go down.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so because
we haven't gone down this road about 4 or 5 times.
Five times. All my fault except for once. All my fault except for once. Well, I'm stoked, and I can't think of anybody right now, which I'll probably change my tune, like Cabbage in another day or two. But I can't think of anybody at this moment that is more controversial, exciting, provocative, sexual, all of those things wrapped up into one package.
Try harder then.
Well, maybe other than you, Beardbarian. I did just show a little bit of your thing. I do like this because there's a lot of flack on YouTube to go off into another subject if y'all or somebody else can approach something else they want. But about there's a lot of makeup vids, But I'll tell you what, every time I'm around the house and I got some electrical work to do or something that I don't know how to do it, YouTube, baby. I'll type it on YouTube, find the top 5 and watch them all. And I'll get I built my smoker from YouTube. I've never laid a block in my life. And I've got a decent smoker. I built it by hand. It looks great. Works well. Unless I'm burning 15 pounds of meat like I just did. It doesn't work well then, but that was user error. So I love this format. And I just was watching Atheism is Unstoppable today. Somebody on the panel I won't name may or may not have worked with him or been friends with him. And he's got a new site. And he was talking about, he's jumping ship and he's on the Titanic and he sees iceberg. And he jumps ship before it hit the iceberg. But man, we need folk like Devin and others to stick around, because if you're good, you're always going to get accused of stuff. And I don't really know about the drama, dox or whatever. I was accused of doxing, but it was because I just mentioned that people wanted to dox somebody. So apparently, I just said it 3 times too. Apparently, you're not even allowed to say that word.
Doxing is a touchy subject.
It's the D word.
If you threaten to dox, people don't like that.
Yeah, docs is not something to joke about, really.
Yeah.
Well, I personally
didn't
didn't threaten any fucking body. I was giving somebody
why
some
don't you
information
mention
that
it?
this person is so hated.
Why do we not just move on to a happier subject?
Yeah,
What-
well, the
what do you
subject
want
is
to talk
I
about,
don't want to
Brett?
see people jump. Yeah, or you, Brett, because I don't want to see people jump ship on YouTube. Is my whole point. But whatever, anything. That was just my stupid attempt to change the subject.
Well, I think, when it comes to YouTube, I think you can say that pretty much about the entire internet. That what has happened is that basically we've kind of got the Library of Alexandria at our fingertips these days. That basically the entire sort of fount of human knowledge is out there. What is kind of a bit worrying is that whenever you hear, I do not know what it's like over there in the States, but over here, whenever we hear a politician talk about the internet, then the internet is only there for bullies, terrorists, pedophiles, and Nigerian fraudsters.
Mhm.
And nothing else really exists. So basically, there aren't really any positives.
Well, I think a lot of them don't want us to realize that we can get knowledge and like actual information from anyone else but them.
Yes, but I have a Nigerian prince who's promising me money. So
the majority of the negative stuff I hear is like porn related or bullying or extremist behavior. So it's usually always associated with something extreme, whether it be good, bad, or ugly. But it's porn, definitely, for sure. The news, the politicians, but I would say probably the news more often would bring it up.
Well, which news? You mean the mainstream?
Yeah, like mainstream media, like just
Yeah.
the major network type things.
One should never knock porn on the internet, because if it wasn't for porn, there wouldn't be an internet.
No.
That's right.
There would be an internet. It just wouldn't be quite the internet we have.
That was pretty much unanimously established, that the initial driving force in establishing the internet in mainstream was actually pornography.
Oh, in the mainstream. Well, you could say mainstream, but it went from the military into academia. And that's where it really got its traction.
I didn't know that.
But how large was it at the time, Cabbage?
About like this large? About that large?
It was it was a good 12 inches.
What I mean is, what brought it into millions of households?
Thank you, Cabbage. I needed that. What did bring it into? That's a good point. It was probably
it's true. No. It definitely did go into it was, again, but it's like dictionaries, you give a kid a dictionary and the first thing it looks up is vagina or something. You'll start looking up the dirty words. And but then again, like we were saying earlier on, prostitution, the earliest form of business, and so porn. People want sex.
That's capitalism right there for you.
Not for rampant fucking.
Yeah, and Huckleberry, that was rude. I'm sorry. I'll take my comment down. I was just giving back what I got.
It is not just capitalism, if you think about it. It's democracy, because it is the direct thing of what people want.
Because at that time they couldn't censor it, but now of course they're looking to do everything they can to censor anything they want. But like I said, the original driving force was academia.
I know that over here in Britain they actually have got some plans on trying to put the pornography genie back in the box, but I don't really think they have any idea what they're letting themselves into. Because I think, now you have generations that have grown up with this world, and I think if they suddenly turn off that tap, they might be surprised.
Or attempt to stifle that tap.
Well, I don't know, because you've got a bunch of pasty people that have barely seen sunshine who will then start walking. Then it will be the bloody zombie apocalypse.
Well, it does. It's so weird because
these are not fighters.
But in Britain, you all seem to start everything. I'm not saying pornography was started there, but you seem to start a lot, and then all of a sudden it's like we've got a good thing going, and now we got to stop it. Enter the whatever the party that is that don't want pornography.
Over here, they have kept alive, in a very much kind of an undead fashion, the BBFC, which is the British Board of Film Classification. It was once called the British Board of Film Censorship, but in the 1980s they decided it sounded much classier to be the Board of Classification rather than censorship. And
better PR with that one.
Yeah, they have the right to basically give classifications to movies. So basically, they say if a movie is a 16 certificate or a 12 certificate, so basically they classify the age ranges. But of course, unlike in most other countries, not only do they give classifications in order to define the age ranges, they can in fact deny classification. So they can therefore say this isn't allowed to be shown in.
That's quite disturbing.
That's where the whole free speech thing comes into play.
Oh yes, but what happens is this, as I say, this is something that you would have thought when the age of the internet came up, that effectively it would die.
God, you know, it's like it's an institution.
They are effectively in charge of cinemas and in charge of kind of DVDs and videos.
I don't expect any of these organizations to go down without some sort of like death throes at least.
You would assume that would be effectively over, because I mean, how many sex films are shown in cinemas anymore today? And how much really is sold on DVD
to clean it up
or video when you have effectively, you know, an endless stream of pornography online. So as such,
that said, if they did put a stamp on it, there'd be a hilarious underground porn trading ring in Britain, and that would be hilarious.
As I say, this is the interesting bit. So they have continued their regulations, and their regulations are very, very strict. Most of the pornography that is on the internet would not be granted permission to be sold on DVD here in Britain.
That's
the overwhelming majority of it. Now here's the interesting bit. Recently, very quietly, very much under the radar, the government have effectively put in charge of the internet the British Board of Film Classification.
I knew about that.
So, strictly speaking, what applies now are the regulations of the British Board of Film Classification to the entire internet. So what they are effectively saying is, if you are in Britain, you have to apply to these regulations. Now, of course,
well, technically, if you provide a feed,
99.9% of the stuff is abroad. So what they've done is, just as Cabbage alluded, in order to try and get around this, they've basically said, in order to be able to have any porn on a website in Britain, you now have to pay them a fee. So they are now saying, therefore, every pornography website in the world ought to be paying them a fee. So they go on there and tell them what they're allowed to have on their website and what not. So basically, they would still stipulate that which of the pornography would have to be taken down. But strictly speaking, they've now put themselves in the legal position whereby they can say, these people are remiss in not paying us their fee, so our fee that we are due, and therefore their access to their website should be blocked.
Well, no, access to certain content would be blocked. Then you'd have to build an entire institution around it that would be monitoring every porn site with every deviant on the planet. That would then have, you know...
precisely not. You wouldn't have to do that. So basically, because they're not paying, because they are not applying, so basically, because they're not applying to have their website reviewed, and they're not paying the fee for said review, they are already technically in breach of British law, so their website can be blocked by default. That is effectively there.
Yes, but they wouldn't cut off the cash cow because they have to maintain that income stream to justify the institution. So they would have to keep the monitoring.
They're not getting.
Exactly, but they can
get
it.
So they wouldn't lose anything. So they wouldn't be cutting off the cash cow.
Well, no, by legal action. But then again, that's going to cost the British.
And gentlemen,
it would bankrupt our government. How could we have that many legal actions going on simultaneously?
Let me pop in here, gentlemen, because I don't think most
Every
people
lawyer on the
realize.
planet would be in
Cabbage, check it out. I don't think most people know, and you British folks will be able to let us know. Am I wrong to think that if they're showing oral sex in a pornography film, that's illegal in Britain, right?
No, it isn't.
No.
What is, if you can say it, being delicate?
Real quick before you get into that, I'm gonna head out.
Oh, nice.
On that happy pornography note.
Yeah.
Bye,
so much
Dave.
porn,
Good to
she's
talk
got
to
to
you
go
for a
look it
few
up.
moments.
Yeah, exactly.
You have
They
to go
won't
make a
they won't
video.
shut up long enough.
Yeah,
They'd
well, that's
love
what
to
I'm
get
gonna
on
do.
board.
I'm gonna be brainstorming video ideas. So.
I'll be getting in touch with you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks, Britisher.
Okay.
I will see you guys all later. Lovely talking with you as always. Bye.
See you
Bye.
later.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye.
Hate to see her go, but love to watch her walk the fuck away.
Yeah.
No, as I say, the way they're setting themselves up is that they are now. They've been moving this way, and this has been coming for years, but they've gradually started positioning themselves where they, strictly speaking, could turn the pornography tap off. And of course, the rest of the world will be watching this with interest, in just the same way that the rest of the world has been studying very closely what's going on in China, and has also been studying what's now going on in Turkey, for example, where they suddenly switched off Wikipedia. So,
In Australia.
you know,
Yeah, but the thing is, everyone knows how to get around it. That's the point. It's irrelevant. I mean, this is what it just makes them look impotent when they try these things, because anyone just runs Tor or gets a VPN. Or something.
But these are just the sort of the preliminary skirmishes. You know, in the end, they are going to try and get control of this beast, and of course, with the computing power, which ever since Snowden, we have kind of realized just how monstrous the computing power is getting on that side. They are putting the tools in place. And remember, of course, here in Britain, what's it called? GCHQ, you know, our kind of web watcher. They have now already been moved into the sphere where they're no longer just chasing extremists and whatever online. So they're no longer fighting, you know, Russian hacker incursions or ISIS or things like that. They have now also been seconded into looking into serious crime and into child pornography.
Okay, can I hop
Because
in?
of course those hi there. Those are the easy ways of getting them into the sphere of policing.
Okay, can I jump in for a second?
Go ahead.
Okay, so you're talking about the bills that have been passed in Great Britain about banning certain pornography sites inside your country, making them illegal.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna give everybody a little bit of a rundown of something. In Great Britain, just as much as in America, in France, and Italy, Greece, Japan, Russia, China, and South Africa, there are what we call the DNS radius servers. They are basically the servers that the DNS system contacts in order to turn a website address into an IP address. They're basically the phone book. So it is even more grave, it is even more of a problem that you're making a bill like that, because you are in charge of ensuring network neutrality. You are one of the countries that are in charge of ensuring network neutrality for the world.
Yeah, like Iceland.
Iceland doesn't have a radius server anymore because of,
doesn't it?
They do not have a radio server anymore because they have had their banking, basically their banking system has been fucking with the economy, and it has put in the DNS server system in danger because of their banking crash.
What about
So
Sweden?
the UN has taken away their server.
What about Sweden?
But in Sweden, yeah, there is a radius server. So on top of that, that's the thing that those politicians don't understand, is that every time they pass a bill, they are endangering the internet as it works. That's the thing that that's the thing that those motherfuckers don't understand. You cannot go counter to the principle of network neutrality, because if you do so, you destroy the internet.
What the hell's network neutrality?
Basically, it's Basically, it is the principle that
I don't know what it is. I've heard net
The most
neutrality. I don't know what it is.
fundamental principle of freedom, mate, on the internet, about the ability to act and do as you see fit and do anything you want without interference.
Just like Jeremy finish his point.
Oh yeah, sorry. And yeah, Cabbage, you can explain it more. I just didn't know what it was, honestly. Go ahead.
I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna explain to Ogre. Basically, you have your ISP. A lot of the websites on which you go are not belonging to your ISP. The principle of network neutrality is telling your ISP, no, you don't have the right to regulate or to throttle the speed at which you deliver your service based on where the server that he wants to contact is placed. You give equal service to everybody. That's what network neutrality is.
Oh, cool. Yeah. No, finish your idea. Yeah, I just, now that I know that, and if that was the end of it. But because I did cut you off, when I hear things, I believe Scientology about one thing. If you don't know a word, you listen to somebody say something, you don't know that word, you're going to search your mind for that word, you're going to forget, you don't know what they just said. So was that the end of your point?
It's not.
I just wanted to personally thank the British people for allowing this frog on with us today. No, I got to bust his balls. They saved us in the Revolutionary War. If it wasn't for France, we wouldn't be here. So I got to bust it.
When it comes to frogs and the French eating them, I've actually recently worked out how that came about. It was actually a misunderstanding. Because this predates, of course, the French Republic. Because who was it who said, let them eat cake?
Marie Antoinette.
Yes. And of course,
she actually said, why don't they eat cake?
She obviously misspoke. She said, let them eat cake.
Let them eat cake!
Oh, God. No.
Did you make that up? Did you make that up?
Man, that was tortuous.
That was hilarious.
That was bad. So bad.
It got close to being good.
I'm amazed that Britisher went. Britisher went all the way down with it because I saw it coming from him.
But the
I
funny
need
thing
a
is,
shower.
That was a surprise.
the Britisher just earned the Ogie Dogie, which is a little award that we pass amongst the inner circle, as probably everybody's heard. And it's a little. It was going to be a hair-lip mouse, but that's already been done by some famous actors. So I got a little statue of Keck that's going to send. It's being sent to his house as we speak, and so that's kind of funny. Did you write that, Britisher, or did you steal it? I want to know the truth.
No, I just came up with it.
That's funny. That was good. That was really good. I'm going to use it.
That was no good. That was horrible.
I feel dirty.
That's what a little blasphemy on the Church of Keck is always welcome.
Seriously, I feel dirty. I need a shower.
All right, I need to scrub down now. I need a decontamination.
There's one more Britishman here, Mr. Jeremy. So be expecting it. I've already busted your balls once today. I do say that because the French are underrated, man. Everybody likes to make fun of your country, but for my country, if it wasn't for y'all, we'd be speaking English. Oh, we speak English. I mean, we'd be drinking. We'd be England.
Yeah, when it comes to the Americans, you're completely devoid of irony there anyway, aren't you? When you decide to rename the French fries Freedom Fries because they don't want to join you in Iraq.
None of us were on board for that, by the way. Please know that.
The French just shrugged their shoulders and go, it's got nothing to do with us anyway. It was the Belgians that invented it.
Exactly.
Allegedly, it was a chef in New York that kept getting it, but it doesn't matter where it was invented. One thing for sure, calling them French fries is a slap in the face to French people. They just you put a potato in deep hot grease and you say it's French. Every Frenchman's going sacre bleu. We make the real food here, and they don't want to hear that.
He's thinking, well, yeah, fuck that. What about the Doppelganger?
Look, I just derailed the whole talk about net neutrality. I think it was kind of serious, and it was interesting to me, but.
Yeah, but it was just to highlight the fact that this is a massive fail of understanding how internet works on the part of your British MPs. I'm sorry, your parliament is equally as clueless as the American one and the French one when it comes to computers.
Absolutely. They are literally, and the Swedish one and every other one.
Yeah, those people are dead.
This is generally one of the problems you've got with all politicians, that they're always, because of their age, they're always about at least 20 years behind the curve.
Ogre, I'm so hard right now. What are you doing?
But on top of that,
I'm just being a dick. He hit the nail right on the head.
when it comes to the pornographic websites, I would like to renew Ogre's question. What has been banned exactly? I know that fisting is not okay now.
Yes,
I know
that's not okay, but I think choking is not okay.
Face
spanking's
sitting.
not good though.
Yeah,
a lot of BDSM is not okay.
And how is face sitting considered BDSM?
Are we back on porn again? I thought we were on the internet.
We're
actually
having
got something
fun with our
intelligent.
consensual
Now we're back to spanking and
exactly,
fisting.
Beard. Exactly,
That
Beard.
is seen as a choking hazard.
This
Yeah,
is
this ain't just about porn. It's about your home life.
Yeah, no.
Well,
but
you know, I don't like to divulge.
seriously, this is the reasoning given for prohibiting face sitting
Because
scenes.
it would inhibit as I say, this is just it.
Don't let a
it's
fat bitch sit on your
it
face
has a
and you won't
potential-
go
Give you
into
pink eye.
stimulation.
It has a
Oh.
it has the potential to inhibit breathing. And this is just it. Even though it is fairly obvious that nobody is dying.
Right.
This is
That
stupid
said, what
because
a way
on
to
top of
go.
that,
Well, we don't know
come
that.
up-
There are snuff films that you don't get to
Because somebody
see.
can come up with a
One at a
hypothetical
time.
scenario
So who
whereby
would be
someone
liable?
could.
Who would be liable for that? Who would be liable for that?
What,
Who do
some
they
fat
need to-
bitch sat on your head and you died?
no,
I
that's
think
the
a
thing.
woman.
That's the thing that you don't understand. That's the thing that you don't understand, Carrie, is that they do not prohibit filming it. I hope they do not prohibit filming it. I hope it's not the filming that they prohibit. They do not prohibit filming it. They just say, when it comes to porn websites that are going to be authorized in England, we're not going to sell it to you.
Well, hang on. Yeah, that's one side of things.
Yeah, but
then,
they'll
of course,
also come in
since
and
then,
check.
they've also
They'll come in and
introduced the
check your
Extreme
history.
Porn Act, whereby you're not even allowed to own it.
Yeah, you can't even. You're not even supposed to search for it because there is an article on this because I went over this a couple months ago in a stream.
Oh no! Now you're just ruling on. Now you're just ruling on what's happening in the bedroom.
No, seriously, they have the right to be able to come in and look at your history, and if they have suspicions, they'll say like child pedophilia or something like that.
Well, they don't even have to come into your house. They can basically now there are black boxes at all ISPs.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Basically capture.
But they'll come in and look,
history.
and if you've even been associating with that type of thing, that they've already said this is not. We're not tolerating this.
It's not exactly
you can get in trouble.
Yeah, that's not exactly what it's like. One of the problems with all sorts of porn laws is that they are all very, very vague. This means they can catch a hell of a lot of activities, but they're not specific. So it doesn't really say face sitting is not permitted. That is merely an interpretation.
The problem is that if you had very specific laws, basically the law itself would be erotica.
Well put. But
well, the way that they're wording it is they're saying anything that they see as violent, as they didn't say kink, but any what's the word?
Yes, but we already know previously
voyeuristic or something like that.
Oh, they come up with wonderful.
She had already said that
but now they're
who was the woman?
They're saying which ones are permittable. Like they're saying which acts.
Well, what it is that the Crown prosecution gives guidance.
There is all kinds of problems.
As such, the law itself doesn't actually stipulate any particular act, and that makes it very, very difficult to know if you're actually even breaking the law by looking at something, or and at the same time, it also makes it very difficult to defend against, because there is no way in which you can say, but I didn't do this specific thing. So, the British porn laws in that regard are very, very difficult, and in some cases can be actually very harsh. So, for example,
we got rubber brothels being created, because that's the whole point, right? Because robots don't have rights.
No, seriously, it rubs me the wrong way for all kinds of reasons. First, network neutrality, as I said it, so I'm not going to go back on it. So let's not talk about the internet side of things. But now let's talk about let's talk about other issues that those people do not want to hear about. First, creative issues. Creatively speaking, it's generating a climate where a porn producer doesn't know whether or not what they're doing is legal or not.
Yes.
First. Second of all, it's limiting their creativity because they will probably want to, like, let's imagine, for example, that a lesbian porn director wants to direct a lesbian scene with a face sitting, you know, with a scene where a lady is giving head to another head to her significant other, and the significant other do it by sitting on her face, you know, just giving head, you know, a face sitting scene.
But you know what? I remember something you said, Jeremy, because I'm that way. I listen to people pretty carefully sometimes. And you were mentioning that you didn't like people waving their Christian dick in people's face. And so there should be laws stopping someone from proselytizing on public space. So I would ask you, when it comes to pornography, because we talked about the net, should there be some kind of laws that at least govern where the pornography is shown and to whom it may be shown to?
Over here in France, we've got some few laws about where should it not be displayed, but it's always, you know, places that is generally massively welcoming children. And this is the should not be displayed. And then,
well, that's good that you had that law. I kind of wanted to know how you felt about it because you made it very.
I thought in church it would be compulsory.
Mercy.
So
not in this church, but.
So how do I feel about porn laws over here in France?
No. What I'm asking you is, you were saying before on another stream that we did that you didn't like people waving their, and I quote, Christian dick in people's faces. And you might say cock, but you said they're phallic in people's faces. Yeah. And so there should be laws stopping people from proselytizing in public spaces. In other words, the sidewalk. You know, not harassing, but it has a sign that says "Jesus loves you. Give your heart to God."
If you have a sign, I don't care.
So the question is, because that's what you stated that, and you didn't mention sign or anything. You were just saying you didn't want somebody harassing you. So what I'm asking you is, in your mind, what should there be any laws that govern where pornography? And man, that's such a tough thing to ask because pornography could be defined in many different ways. But where pornography would be shown and to whom it would be shown to?
No, it shouldn't, for various reasons, and one of them is that I am a man who think that if you want your kids to have a very well developed sexual life and a happy sexual life, they need to know as fast as possibly imaginable. I have received sex ed as young as 8-year-old, and
mercy sake, but we don't condone that here at all. No.
Let me finish.
That's wonderful for you. Yeah, go ahead. I just wanted to say that. I got to interject that when you say 8 years old. I have to, man. This is my channel. We do not condone, and regardless of your anecdotal evidence here, I would say that was wrong at 8 years old. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, but can I just ask a question?
Yeah, let it finish, and then we will, because I just jumped on it.
Just to clarify something. Yeah. What kind of level of sex ed are you talking about? Are you talking about, like, you know, techniques, penetration of, you know, man on man, woman on woman? Well, I mean, what kind of sex ed? That's the difference.
No, basically, when we were kids, we had an edutainment, so education plus entertainment. We have an edutainment show that was
like queer kid stuff. That'd be great.
No, let me finish. That was called Once Upon a Time Life, and it was basically about human biology at large. How do you fall sick? How does it work? Basically, it was talking human biology in the form of a cartoon. But it was talking about your human biology. The first
reproductive, right?
So
not LGBTQ stuff.
No, not LGBTQ stuff. Just basically telling you how does a human make a baby. The fact that basically when humans have sex with one, and basically there was a complement to the cartoon. There was a bunch of tiny little comics that were sold with them, and the comics were explaining to kids with a language appropriated to them that sex can have its downfall. Sex can have its own risks. You know, sex can have its own risks.
It's just basic.
I'm glad you clarified that, because what you're talking about is sex ed, which I started, I believe, in about the 8th grade. So whatever that is, add 6 to 8.
But it wasn't telling people that, you know, gay. And,
no, they had the shot that was like it wasn't black and white, but they actually showed copulation when I was in the 10th grade. You know, there was giggles and stuff, but it showed a penis going into a vagina. I don't know if it was an X-ray or what, but it showed him ejaculating the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, but that's basically what I was trying to get to.
Okay, and I'm glad that you clarified, because when you said it the way you said it, maybe it's the accent.
it
I was thinking about
sounded
something
very
else. Yeah, I was like, holy crap, you know.
Yeah, that sounded dark, man. That sounded really dark.
Yeah,
Well,
but
In all fairness,
people-
gentlemen, that is what you interpreted into it, because
Yeah, because
I didn't.
most sexual education is going to be
What are
like
you trying to say, Bishop?
for kids that young. It's going to be more about like their health of their body, like what this should be and what this should be doing and what it should look like, and
we talked.
like,
We
all of that stuff, but not like actual sexual acts. That's completely different.
Yeah, it was not showing actual sexual acts. It was basically showing body cells. It was, operating at the very microscopic levels with huge drawings. Telling you
the science behind it.
Yeah, the science.
How children are created. That's basically it, right?
How can you fall sick, and how can mommy can have trouble with the baby? Like, how can the baby basically? For example, there was some 3 pages in the comics that were talking about the fact that the placenta was a very powerful microbial barrier, so the baby was protected from a lot of shit, but on the other hand, it was taking a toll on the mom's immune system. So yeah, the baby is protected as fuck, but mommy therefore has an immune system that is at an all-time low.
Yeah, so it's just sticking to the fact
put
of
us in the same thing in Catholic school.
Yeah, I mean, that's really biology. We got that in biology. We didn't get that in sex ed. That was in biology class.
I did that in 5th grade, though. What was I like?
Yeah, exactly.
10 years old in 5th grade?
Yeah.
I
mean, but that's science, right?
Yeah,
but that's science. That's not social engineering or social science,
well,
or whatever they want to fucking call them.
Over here, that's what counts as sex education. And let me finish.
Same here.
Let me.
But now they want to corrupt it. That's the problem. Now they want to corrupt
luck
it.
with cabbage.
Let me finish.
Good luck, brother.
Let me finish. So, at 8-year-old, you deal with that cartoon. At 11, you deal with the fact that there is such a thing as men loving other men, ladies loving other ladies. It should be your choice, and you should not basically. But it was not SGW stuff. It was just basically it's normal, kids. It happens in nature.
They don't generally teach that in public school here. They can do what they want in private schools. It's just that's left up to the family and the society.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the whole point. I don't think that the biological stuff.
Guys, I shall let Jeremy try to get a word in and finish his point, but I will be off for now. Okay.
All right,
so,
thank you.
Ladies and gents,
I just don't want to talk about sex anymore.
Have a good one.
See you out.
See you.
Yeah, it's about
Bye.
time. It's also about time. So good to have you. But it's dwindling. And I'll be honest, I don't mind talking about this for 3 more minutes. I'll mute myself and watch the clock.
So we were also not introduced to any contraceptive measures before the age of 13. So it was always science, and it was always done with the angle of science. And that's the thing that I love over here in France, is that in the educational system, what counts as sex ed and what needs to be said is always validated by your biology teacher. And on the basis that it needs to be pertaining to the biological to the schedule of biology teaching when it comes to human biology.
Well, that's good. So it ties in with the in the classroom education as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So whenever they learn about biology first, they hit the science facts, and then once they get to the appropriate age where pretty much everybody, male and female, is starting to hit puberty, contraceptive needs to come in as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's fantastic, really.
Yeah, it makes sense because the contraceptive is showing that there's a barrier, and because if you stop one element getting to the other element, then that's not going to happen. This activity is not going to occur.
Mm-hmm, correct.
Yeah, so, and on top of that, that leaded our own leaders, even the most conservative ones, to realize, shit. Actually, the age of first sexual relationship has gone up rather than down, with them being properly taught about it. Before the 80s, no, seriously, let me finish. Before the 80s, the average age of first sexual relationship was 15. Nowadays, it's 17.
So are you telling us that people who are well informed are making better decisions?
Yeah. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The statistics are showing it. The statistics, like, look, 20 years of doing the way we want it, the way we've been asking it. Look at it. Look at it. The age of first sexual relationship is now up to 17-year-old for both male and female individuals.
So are the teen birth rates dropping as well?
The team what?
The teen
They
birth
have to
rate?
be if the age of the change in the age has got to reflect the amount of people who are getting reproducing. Of course. But,
the teen pregnancy thing you're talking about. We are the place where it happens the least with Japan. In the world.
Okay, so that leads me to another question. How is that possible when you have so many refugees around?
When we have so many refugees,
the statistics aren't in yet. That's the problem.
Okay. No, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
No, this isn't leading. I promise.
There's not much I could learn from this lot, Doppelganger. But anyway.
Yeah, but
but the thing is, though, right?
Also, another thing.
No, come on, look, man.
If you let the community deal with it, let the families deal with it.
You've had a long time on this one. And I want to give you, people saying I'm interrupting or whatever. I haven't fucking interrupted for ages, and I want to get some clarification on some points. Okay. Now, the thing is that you're saying about this is all well and good in terms of what is, currently the official, status of the way in which people are educated in that manner. But what kind of alternative methodologies are being suggested for, the modification of that? Because I can understand it being on the scientific level, because that's how it should be, right? It's about how you get a baby. And then also you put it to, say, economics, and you say, if you have a baby, then you're going to have these responsibilities. It's going to be a pain in the neck. You give kids a baby to take home with them, for a period of time, like they give those surrogate children so that the kids have to learn what it really feels like to have this responsibility and things like that.
Oh, no, we don't have that.
Well, certain places do. But you know what I mean? At least you understand that there is cause and effect, right? So people make a better judgment because of that, because they'll understand how it's going to impact and impose upon their lifestyle.
Yes.
So therefore they make a later decision, right? But now you have these different, which all make sense, right? Because all of that is logical and sensible. It's biological. It's fiscal, whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
But then you end up with the social sciences coming in. Now, what level of impact is that having within the French schools?
None.
Really?
None, because the biology teachers are fighting tooth and nail with one thing, is that, for example, I am a bisexual man, so
bastards.
So so personally, I am close to LGBT movements. LGBT movements and biology teachers agree on one thing: when it comes to LGBT issues, let the LGBT...
and that's funny. Oh, sorry.
Let me finish.
Oh yeah, but hang on a second, man. Oh man, I just eject your ass. What I'm trying to say is Sidney Roughtime doesn't even know where babies came from, and he's got to be 45. So God save us. Let the state decide. I'm sorry, sir.
I love you, Ogre. I love you. No, but no, the social justice bullshit just doesn't manage to enter the school place for one reason, is that LGBT movement don't want to enter the schools. They're like, no, you do the sex ed stuff, and if you do not ask if there is LGBT people in the classroom, you just hand them a chick tract about here are the LGBT associations that are surrounding you that you can go to if you're an LGBT person. And when it comes to, coming to terms with your sexuality as an LGBT person, go see them on your own will if you want to, and in their associations. So it doesn't enter the classroom. Unless, of course, the biology teacher want to make an association come, but then they need to be vetted by the principal of the college, of the middle school or high school. They need to be vetted. What's going to be said needs to be vetted by the principal.
And I got to say this, and to play devil's advocate with myself, and your society is different than mine. So what I'm seeing is your society has come together. In other words, the community has come together and decided this is the best way to apply sex education. And hey, man, I'm over talking about sex education. It's groovy. However, it seems to me, unless you're Muslim and you get, diddled by some Muslim dude because you're prepubescent, which means you're not a man or a woman, so you can't possibly rape you. So you're getting, that's bad to me. But otherwise, however the society's doing it,
rape is bad.
Let them do it. If the end result is you, Jeremy, if the end result is somebody that lives a decent, normal life and isn't screwed up from what they were, subjected to in some cases, and then to each their own. Where I'm at right now it's a little different, but I'm not even going to talk about it. It's just different how it happens. But I would say I could give many examples of folks that I don't know of anybody around here that's like homophobic. I don't know all these words. Nobody gives a shit. Yeah. Nobody cares.
Well, but Ogre.
What we care about is don't steal my lawnmower.
Yeah, but Ogre, the thing is, why are you so fucking preoccupied with your lawnmower? Anyway,
well, that is a dumb example I was giving.
Damn redneck! Don't steal my lawnmower.
Thanks for that, though. I appreciate all the opinions, man. And because when you talk about stuff like this, everybody's gonna have a different opinion.
Yeah, the thing is, I was going to say about France. One of the big things with France is, especially with all of the riots that are going on and everything. You're saying you don't. Okay, it's not got into the education system yet, so thank God. But you have to worry about who's being trained up, because you have look at how the social justice warriors are working with what's happening with all the riots and the crazy shit that's going on in the in the communities. With this, love thy neighbor and all that kind of shit, like in Germany, where it's like welcome all of these immigrants, welcome all of these other people, and just go with the flow. That's social justice too. And if you've got those people who are thinking that way, it won't be a long time before they start working, weaseling their way into the education system. That's how it's worked everywhere else.
Well, good.
I hope you're keeping your eyes out.
Good fucking luck for them, because the entirety of the administration and the entirety of the scientific college over here in France is going to kick their asses as they always do. Actually, I came back.
No, this is political, not scientific. This is political. This is social.
Yeah, I know. But that's
so. It's not science. So don't bring science into it. This is social.
No, but you're telling me, well, the social justice, be careful of them not creeping inside the educational system, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of fail-safe. There's a lot of fail-safe against it.
So, Beardbarian, you live on an island?
Oh, hell yeah, I do. It's a fantastic island.
You were out there with your, what do you call it? What is it, LARPing? I don't want to,
technically what I do classifies as LARPing, but it's not LARPing. I fucking hate LARPing. Oh, I'm gonna swing a little thing at you. Oh, one, 3.
No, you make some actually fairly, I would call them equivalent to a pugil stick, which I've used.
Oh, hell yeah. 40 PVC piping, heavy shit, and we put about a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch of foam on there, just enough so it doesn't break human bones, and beat the ever-loving piss out of each other. We, as a company, went ahead and put forward to try and get insurance on it.
I'm not saying they're sharp, but you have them. They're not round. You actually have them on a.
Oh yeah, no, everything. It's pointed on a tip there. It's a hard compacting tip. We're in the same insurance category as skydiving for risk of danger. We had on our first thing this year, we had 3 different people pulled out on stretchers after we were done.
Are you ever going to film that Canadians beating the fuck out of each other with pugil sticks?
You know what? I actually tried to at the last one, and I got in a lot of shit for it because it was funny. We had a great tournament, and I was running around behind people with my little handy cam. But the whole thing I called nerd fights. And as soon as I get people up, all right, guys, it's time for fucking nerd fights. And I got in shit because the people who run the thing were like, that's too close to bum fights. But the irony is that I'm hosting another tournament with these same people that wanted to do it in another couple of weeks here, where I'm actually paying them in beer to do it.
Okay, let me interrupt you. What the fuck is a bum fight? Is that like two asses?
Yeah, go ahead. Tell them, Beard.
Terrible thing that they did for a while, and they'd have a couple of bums. They just take them together and make them street fight, beat the shit out of each other.
They give them $50 apiece, and film it or whatever. Yeah, usually
it's like ball throwing, that kind of stuff.
That's rough.
My
That's rough.
God. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
okay,
Sorry.
continue.
So
Sorry, I
they
just need
stopped me from
clarification.
filming it initially so that I could go ahead, and now I'm actually going to be paying them in beer and stuff. So it's fucking hilarious. But yeah, no, we fight bloody hard. We call it heavy action roleplay instead because we still have fantasy elements because fuck it, we're all D&D players. But oh my God.
How old are
hit,
you,
like,
Beard, if you don't mind me asking? How old are you?
30, and I started at this when I was 20, 21.
See, they said when I was young, they said that the D&D thing would die, and I took part in it a few times. I mean, I wasn't big into it, but I had some friends that were still at least. I mean, I had a friend of mine had every daggone book you could think of, all the dice, everything. But they said it was going to die, and here I'm 42. You're 12 years younger than me. So when I first started playing, you would have been 2.
Yep.
And but you know, it's still going. It's kind of cool, and it's actually stepped up. It would have been. I would have been more into it if I had to make a. What did you call that hat? I called the cowboy hat, but a tiller.
Oh, I've got a tilly hat. Yeah, it's a little bit
tilly.
different. It doesn't naturally have the folds in it. You just got to clip up the sides.
Well, you know, my
cowboy
cowboy hat is actually a sun hat for a girl. I've got them safety pinned up. This is a silver wave sun hat for a lady. I use it when I'm weeding the garden. If I just pull out 2 safety pins, it'll just flop down. It's made in San Francisco. This one is. But so I mean, I dig it.
That's
but
what
your hat
silly hats was landscaping.
I mean, I'm digging this too. And Carrie, anybody else has questions about this? I want to talk about something. Like I offered to Beardbarian to come on, and I wanted to pick his brain about this shit a little bit.
Oh God, yes, please nerd out. I love it when you guys
So
nerd
is there
out.
what if you run against somebody? I'm not even kidding. And they just is there a rule against just? I mean, it gets a little rough, and maybe you get somebody in the ribs, and they whack you right across here. Is there a rule about anything like that?
We've got a light system to it where you're trying not to strike anybody in the hand, head, or groin, but it happens. It happens a lot. Yeah, I actually part of the reason why I'm not in the SCA these days is because I took a blow so heavy that it left me with a grade 3 concussion, and I spent 2 months not knowing who I was, where I was, nothing. But it was a great story related to that, though, the fun thing, and I'm really excited for this. I've got a family history of Alzheimer's, and I'm really looking forward to the day that it kicks in, because I spent that 2 months, I kept on having to get picked up by my friends and dragged home, because I wanted to go outside, and every time I did, I took a trash can, tied it to my forearm, threw on a cloak, grabbed a stick, and went out the door to fight dragons. And I'm looking forward to being a 70-year-old Don Quixote fighting windmills.
Dude, you got knocked in the head so hard.
I'll get a donkey and be right behind you, brother.
You went back in fucking time.
Exactly.
My God.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic.
It's a fun thing, man.
Okay,
Holy shit.
so
And it gives me
have
an
you-
opportunity to make costumes and shit.
So have you made any any relationships or really good friendships or collaborations with any of the people in this
Oh hell yeah.
group, I have to say?
Yeah, totally. I actually joined this group because I was getting out. I used to be a male dancer and did a lot of heavy drugs and wanted to step away from that. So I found a new group of friends and got in with these guys. And actually,
all right. We gotta rewind now. Say that again.
I used to dance, taking my clothes off for money, 7 nights a week. It was fucking great. It was a great party. I really enjoyed it. But
What a slut.
yeah.
Okay, I had to say that because you're a dude. I'm a chick.
Hey, no,
it's good.
No.
Man's
I
got
was
to
a
eat.
huge slut.
No,
Yeah,
good
exactly.
for you. Good for you. Good for you. Nah, go ahead.
But through this group, because I lost, as soon as you quit doing drugs and partying, none of the people in that community want anything to do. You're not one of us. Fuck you.
Beard.
So,
Can I ask a question about
hell yeah.
your past job of dancing naked for ladies?
oh yeah.
Do you have a rule, like do the clubs where it takes place have a rule like in France, like you have to have your nail cut in order to enter?
With what was going on with us, I wasn't working at strip clubs. I was working at nightclubs across the city, so it was a little bit different. So the restrictions that I was stuck with were that my pants were always on, which wasn't a problem with me. I had no qualms with that. But it also meant that I wasn't on a stage secluded from anybody. I was up on the I was basically I compared to speaker dancing or anybody who knows Electric Circus or shows like that.
So ladies could claw on you and you could come back home scratched.
Oh hell yeah! That was
Why
that was
is
a
it
frequent,
that how come men go to a woman's place and you can't even fucking get touch a single thing, and yet women
Because
which one it
grab
is.
every piece of
Because
shit
you're
off a
men.
man.
It
Because
depends
you're
on which
men.
one it is too, man. The Rachel's in Orlando got shut down for that, but the girls,
Very
it depends
rare.
on which one you're at. No, so
Okay.
in fact, all the ones I would go to in
Yeah.
Orlando, the girls were very, very friendly. But
Yeah, fucking hypocrisy,
you paid for the privilege or whatever. But you're right.
Yeah, but the women are the ones who moaned about the fact they were getting manhandled, and then they're actually manhandling men.
I got to say this. There's a place called Circus on 1792 in Castleberry, Florida, outside of Orlando. And for years, they were all nude, and the girls were very friendly. They had 2 jobs. They were dancers, and they did whatever else that they wanted to do for money. And
always got cards.
I knew a couple girls that worked there. That's how I went down there and found a place. $7 beers though, mate. You got to know somebody that works there because they would give me my beers for free. I paid $7 for a beer. That was in 2000 probably. Anyway, make a long story short, they made nudity illegal, and there was the circus. There was 20 of them right down the line. They even had a Velvet Touch there. They had a bunch of them, and so suddenly there's all these girls and nothing else to do. Some of them were prostitutes, but most of them just danced nude and got paid well for it. It would be at a peep show or on stage, and Circus was the only one to get the bright idea. For years, they did Macbeth and the Buff. And that meant that the girls did everything that they did before. But once in a while, one of the hookers would come out and be like, oh, Yorick.
Yeah, I know thee so well.
Yeah, and that's about all she'd say. The music would stop, a spotlight would come on, a totally naked girl, and she'd say something like that. Alas, poor Yorick, I knew him. He did once wipe my ass, and that'd be the end of it. They go back, bum, 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 bum. Anyway, but there is a double standard. It's not up to the girls. It's like society, because when the clubs are let to go their own route, the girls usually choose to do what'll make them money, man. That's what they're there for.
Yeah, but the thing is, the guys are absolutely fucking rabid when you see them with these,
exactly.
Guys are not like that, right? If a guy got a chance just to do a little tickle, he'd be happy. That'd be it. You know what I mean? He wouldn't push the point.
I don't know what kind of
women can grab whatever they want. And
let me give you a female point of view on that comment that you just made. Okay. So when it comes to men and when it comes to women, if a man grabs a female exotic dancer, okay, there are places.
Yeah, why say grab? Stroke.
Hold on.
Women grab. Men stroke.
Hold the fuck on. So a man could slide his hand up the back of your thighs, grab your ass, and slip a freaking pinky into your twat very easily. The freaking bouncer's not going to see that. A man, if a woman is going to grab a male dancer, she's going to cup his balls, grab his cock, or maybe squeeze his ass cheek. If she claws him,
I got to counter that one.
Oh my god!
Because the pinky could go in the butthole. The pinky could go in the butthole.
Exactly. Bullshit.
Well, it could, but what woman? I mean, seriously, what woman are you going to find besides the freaky ones that are going to stick their finger in a man's?
The kind that go to strip clubs.
Which man are you going to get apart from the freaky ones that want to stick a finger?
All of them over 40.
I've got to say
that's pretty normal for men.
No, I'm sorry, but that's nonsense. That's just
to stick a finger in
you're making. That's a wild assumption that you're making.
I'm not making an assumption.
No, I'm talking about a man can't even touch a woman's legs, let alone a twat. A woman can grab a guy's dick and shove a finger up her ass, his ass, and nothing will happen.
It just costs extra money.
It's full of shit.
It just costs extra money.
Full of shit, double standards.
It is a double standard, but that's reality. That's reality.
Bollocks.
It is bollocks.
I've got to say,
there's no doubt about it.
About a club.
Well said, Cabbage. Well said.
Swift Fox want to talk, so let him say what he.
Are you going to keep crying about it because you can't grab a fucking stripper's ass?
Oh, he's grabbed plenty of ass.
Come on now.
He don't like any double standard.
I'm not moaning about it. I don't want to grab some.
And he's right. Silver Fox. There is a new person.
I'd rather why are you?
I got good and buzzed and caught up in the conversation and didn't realize there was a new person here.
Yeah, it's good. It's good, Cabby.
Double standards. That's all I was pointing out.
Did Swift Fox? Do you have a microphone?
Life's not fair.
No, if you scroll up, I actually introduced who I am.
Tell that to the people who moan about the wage gap.
Okay.
I do all the fucking time. The bitches.
Okay, the thing about the kink is clubs like that select for the kink.
Starfish.
Normal, sane people don't know. Well, that's not fair to say, but the more radical people won't be going to clubs. They'll be at home reading books.
They came to my clubs, that's for sure.
I know. I got it now, Swift Fox. Excellent.
So I personally, I was saying, I was asking the question about being to Beard about being clawed, because it basically over here in France, for both ladies and guys, they can hop off the stage, and they're gonna be days in those clubs where you're gonna be able to touch the stripper, be it a male stripper or female stripper. But if it's a day where they will have a show where they hop off stage and therefore people will be able to touch them, basically, ladies, when it's male strippers, ladies, in order to be able to enter, have to show their nails to show that their nails are cut. Otherwise, they do not enter the place until they cut their nails.
And that's something I really wish that we had over here, because there were definitely days where I went home, especially across the back and the sides. I'd be bleeding profusely by the end of the shift, because I'd have, like I was joking about the 40-year-old women, I quite honestly had a lot of cougars, and they'd be crawling over each other literally to get up onto that stage and grab at me. And if they couldn't quite get at a shirt, they'd just rake right down my chest. And thankfully, I don't have any scars from it. But holy fuck, those women are savage. Whew.
The fairer sex, right? The fairer sex.
Yeah.
After 40, it's all fair game. I was a hot 19-year-old young thing in tight leopard print pants, and they're all going.
They were coming to see you to get the rocks off. That's for sure. They were doing shit with you, but their husbands wouldn't allow them to do with them.
Well, why do you think the husbands go to the fucking strippers, and they're not even allowed to do shit to a stripper? They can't even touch a bloody leg.
Yes, you can. You have to pay extra.
No, you can't. Not over here. You can't. You can't touch anything. You have to have your hands away. You so much as even touch the leg,
strip club.
you're out of there.
I agree.
Yeah,
with Carrie.
That shit.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you're from the South. There's a place called the Risque Cafe. There's actually two of them, one in Florida, one in Georgia on 75.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go there, and the girls, I tried to go there once. You don't pay any extra to get in. It's a buffet, and on top of the buffet cab, there's naked chicks walking around the whole time. So some of them are dancing on poles, some of them are just walking around butt naked. And but the problem I had is there was about 15 girls actively working at one. It's a big place. Well, it's like you'd have to see it. You go in and say, but there was only about 3 of them that were even decent looking. The rest of them, oh man, there was this one girl. Holy good gracious. But they were very friendly. I mean, I've seen a couple girls working like where the truckers were, eating their fried chicken or whatnot from the buffet right from you. Sit down, their food's right there. Like every 6 pans is the same thing. Anyway, so Cabbage, you're going to the wrong strip clubs, or England sucks, because there are places you can go in America that it's full on service. If you got $100, you can go in the back room, or probably in the back room, you go out in your truck or your car, get a handy or whatever you want. Sorry. But yeah, it's cool how there's differences. I think it's funny that in the end, we're all like Puritanian over here in America in a lot of ways. I hear Jeremy starts to even mention sex ed when you're 8. I'm like, we're fucking running away like there's a fire. But in the end, it's very liberal here, that way. I can go to the corner store and buy any kind of porn magazine I want. Little out in the middle of nowhere store too. They got anything you want. They got a little section where you can buy porn movies.
I've always said that you can put as many Puritanism as you want in a society. It's not going to make the sex go away. It's just going to express itself differently.
Maybe stronger in this case over here.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. So you make anything illegal, then it makes it all the more desirable, right? Because then it has an extra frisance attached to it.
Can't believe I'm still here. It's late there, Cabbage. I'm about ready to split.
Yes, it is. Well, no, it's only 10 o'clock here. No, it's early, really, relatively. Good God, you're kidding me.
10:30. No big deal.
I was up late last night, fiddling around with some friends. It was a good time, and I'm tired now.
Fiddling around with some friends. That
I was
considering
playing
the conversation, that now sounds disturbing.
Oh, it might have been for some people.
Oh, the pictures were great though.
So has anyone memed them?
Hush, hush, thought I heard you calling my name, now hush. Anyway, yeah, but this has been fun. I do dig it. Beardbarian and I had this wonderful plan behind the scenes that we've been like talking about for at least a day, maybe 2, that we were just going to have a fun, carefree, frolicking stream about taking care of your beard and frolics through the forest and whacking each other with PVC staffs and whatnot.
And instead we delve deep into beavers.
Okay, the change is coming. All right. Ogre's going full LGBTQ.
Yeah, I was going to put on a dress. That was part of the fun, though. It was like I was trying to keep it fun, keep it gay. Yeah, everybody like the producers. Keep it light, keep it fresh, keep it gay. I was just trying to keep it gay.
Yeah, but gay meant something differently back then, didn't it?
Hey, look, Blair White. I guess she's not gay now, but it's weird to me. So there was a time when it's all confusing to me, man. I ain't gonna ask JW out, but there was a time when I guess he was gay, maybe or not. I don't know. I'll ask later.
Yeah,
but
well, that's a significant question there, Ogre.
Oh, and the reason, so I don't want to mention it again, but Cabbage, the reason I'm waffling is because I was thinking this will be the second. I'll have to classify her as queer, transgender. That's an LGBT. So she's the T in LGBTQ. So and we've had Scott.
She's been pigeonholed. How about the pigeonhole? Does she like the pigeonhole?
I'd like to pigeonhole.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd like to do lots of things, you freak. Listen, it worries me. You've got a chicken farm.
Phrasing, Cabbage.
I worry about how many of those chickens.
Hey, them chickens can shit out an egg that big around, no problem. I tell you what.
Ogre, just to give you gauge how well the stream is going, Maxbury is now saying that's gayer than his Twitter feed.
Max Bear has a great Twitter feed. I was afraid it was flip. I said Titter feed. No, Max Bear, is he out there? Hey, Max, you should come on in. I get the tweet.
Yeah, he's totally in there. Max, I love your feed. It's fucking great.
Where did you pop up from? You disappeared for ages. Where have you been?
Max, come and join us.
A couple of days.
Yeah, well, I'll put the thing out there because I'm going to split. I mean, I said that an hour ago. I'm going to go at 6. I've got to go because I got chores to do that I got to be done at 6 or they ain't going to get done. And I'm the only one to fucking do it. I often tell people, well, I run a farm. What that means is I shovel the shit. I get them up in the morning and till the birds out, feed them and water them. In fact, a Cabbage has been with me one morning via this wonderful thing that we have on the phone. He has. He's been all the way from England. Where's your Cabbage? He's right there while I was doing my
I tell you what, it is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. That's what you can look out on in the morning. It's gorgeous panorama.
I never take it for granted, brother. Never take it for granted. I never do. You should see it when wintertime comes. You'll have to do the same thing where you're out there with me. I can just show you around when it's like the snow with it because you've seen the long field. What you're looking at is about 6 miles of visible before it goes over that big horizon. But it goes on there. If it wasn't for that lump, that little, because you see it's really flat. If it wasn't for that lump, you'd be able to see. In fact, if it was better resolution, you'd see the water. Yeah, it's prairie. Yeah, except there's a lot of woods. I was showing you the shot out back. Next time I'll give you the 360 when you can see the rest. Most of it around me is woods. I got my little drone. I fly way up there and look down, and I mean, I would show it on.
If you got woods, man. You should have pigs.
Oh, we got pigs. In fact, we have pigs, deer, we have rabbits, we have conies.
I'm so jealous, man.
Those are hogs.
Ogre, meanwhile, the stream is that you actually redo your nails.
I redo my what?
Nails.
My nails?
Yeah. Nail polish, to be exact.
Oh, I've done that before.
Oh, God, yeah. You're going to do your bloody little finger.
I actually painted my thumbnails silver and the rest of my nails black about 5 years ago. I kept them that way for maybe 6 months, but I mean, it was, I was just, because I try to be different sometimes, and I got too many, it was weird for me.
You're on the change. You've had 3 women, but how many men? That's what I want to know.
about 15 or 20 a week on a good week.
Yeah.
When I'm really tricks,
when I'm Grinder. Yeah, well, that's the power of Grinder, isn't it?
Man, stop it, Cabbage. No, it's fun. It's fun. It's supposed to be a light, happy thing. And I'm still, you know what I was saying? It's no joke, man. We're having homosexual people, trans people on, Dankula. I'm not even gonna mention some of the other big ones because I feel like I'm pumping my nads. But we got people coming on that are eclectic. Nachi free, I will, because he ain't all huge. Beardbarian, eclectic people. But it pumps my nads more than,
Oh God, I pump Ogre's nads.
Oh, I was wondering when you said that, since they're teasing me, when you were a male dancer, how many times was it like dudes that were giving you effect? Because I may or may not have done that same job back in 1991 in Orlando, Florida, and it was a bitch. And my clothes were off. Willie was waggling, man. My clothes gone.
Entertainingly, it didn't happen often, and when it did happen, it was usually when I wasn't on stage. It'd be like after my shift, and I'd be having a drink, and I used to have really, really long curly hair, and with those tight pants and a little shirt on, there'd be, you know, I'd inevitably get a hand on my ass, and I'd turn around, and it's some 6-foot-something bro with pop collar polo going, "Oh fuck!"
You looking real purty tonight, boy. Let me tell you what.
I was. My mess of hair down in somebody's lap, I would have looked like the prettiest lady.
Oh man, I did. In my situation, I was either called out to a place, and it would always be 2 of us would go, so it'd be like a bachelorette party or whatever. And then there was a couple bars that once a week in one and once a week in the other, we'd go. And man, the girls there at O-Town in that day and age, I'm sure they still are, because I guarantee they still do it at the same places. I know they do at one for sure. And I mean, there'd be dudes, and the thing of it is they paid some girls to be there, and they wouldn't like. I won't mention the club, but they wouldn't like me saying this because some of the girls would be blowing the dudes. So those girls, 9 times out of 10, now there would be a drunk bachelorette there once in a while, be fucking getting laid in the corner while everybody's cheering. But anyway, it was that raucous, and as Cabbage Patch was saying, it is. I can't imagine that happening in a gentleman's club, like a chick getting banged in the corner. By a dude that came there to pay for dances.
Now, the way it works over here is that, I mean, this is a stupid thing, right? You go in, you get a lap dance, and you can't touch anyone. So they're just rubbing themselves, which is a pointless exercise. Like, you're going to get excited about that. But then usually you get a card, and that's when you get the extra bit. You know, that's when she's getting the extra business. That's the way that it works. So, you know, and it's kind of pathetic, really. It's all very sad. You know, that's why, you know, strippers bars in this country are a complete waste of time. I don't know why anyone ends up going in them, because the beer is 3 times what it would be anywhere else.
Yeah.
And all you get is some hideous, you know, troll rubbing themselves against you. You know, and then gives you a card and says you want some more, you know, really.
Give me 100 pounds. Fucking 100 quid right here. You know, it's too much. I would go, you know what I do, Cabbage? I would suggest anybody else too. I don't care what you look like. If you're a man or a woman, if you want to get laid and you're having a problem with it, I'd suggest this. Go to a place where you've never been before, a bar, you know, within reason of your house, or a gathering of any kind, you know, where it's not necessarily church, but maybe even church. I've done it myself. And then you go and you meet someone there and just be yourself and smile, listen, and eventually it'll come up. You know what I mean? And that's it.
Stripping places, I mean, they're demeaning. I mean, okay, you might get, you know, like 21st birthdays when you're young and, you know, you're young, dumb, full of cum or whatever. But as an adult, I don't know. But maybe when I get older, maybe, you know, desperation will kick in or something. But you got the internet porn. You got all the internet.
Gene Simmons was asked one time by a reporter from Rolling Stones. They were like, "Mr. Simmons, it says here that you said you slept with 1,000 women in your life. Wow, it must be great to be a rock star, to get laid by every girl that knows you." And Gene was like, "Well, it's true. I probably humped 1,000 girls, but you got one part wrong. What I do is I stand out back when all the girls are coming in for the you know, the backstage pass people, and the pretty girls I see, I say, 'Hey, baby, you want to get in a hot tub with me and 9 other chicks tonight and fuck like we're animals?' And he said, 9 of them slap me right in the mouth, but 10 of them always say yes." He said 9 out of 10 of them, you know, slap me in the mouth, but I always get 10 of them to say yes. So he was saying that he asked, Gene Simmons, the bass player for Kiss, asked 100 girls to fuck him, to be able to get 10 to fuck him. So just keep that in mind. And that goes for a lot of girls.
Law of averages, mate. Law of averages.
Hang in there. Keep your chin up.
But also the question is,
always go for the hottest girl in the room. Don't fuck around. Go right for whatever one is the most attractive, or boy if you're a girl. Anyway, it's my advice, my little humble advice. It's served me well in my life.
Yeah, you got 3 apparently.
I've been laid twice. I was just stretching it twice, but I humped those 2 girls an awful lot, mister.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's 3. It's not about the number of the people. It's the quantity of the commitment.
Yeah, and I've got a 4-incher when it's rock hard. I mean, I could satisfy the ladies.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
bad boy.
Got me on this. Well, I want to go the other way, and we did. I'm hauling ass, man. I'm going to have this bong slot with the last stragglers on. People just hang on late now, Cabbage. And people do come on. Coal Pile listens in a coal mine. And folks have emailed me and got on the thing, and they're like, "Oh, we love Cabbage. We listen to y'all in the office. There's 10 of us here listening." And so I feel a certain obligation to try to push 3 hours out.
Hi, Magog. You said hi to me on your last stream. So hi, buddy.
Aw.
On that subject, I gotta interject for a second. Magog, I know you were listening. You need to know now. I am the Beardbarian. One of these days, I am training to assault your tower, and I am coming for you. I shall slay thee, foul sorcerer. It's going down.
Yeah. He means coming in a very different way than you think he does.
Hey, Beard, man, I was marathoning your shit, Barian, and my old lady was in here listening, and she don't say this often because one of the things that some people, girls and boys both probably like about me is my voice. We listen to a shitload of audiobooks. My favorite audio narrator ever is Frank Muller, God rest his soul, and did a lot of stuff for Stephen King, a lot of stuff. He narrates Moby Dick, the version I listened to. Anyway, she heard you in the kitchen. She had her Bluetooth on too, but she thought it was me. And then she came out, which we don't sound very much alike, but you have a deep voice. And she came out here, she was listening to you narrate. When I listened to every story you did. And she came out and listened. She was like, man, dude, I'm gonna tell you, you're on my top 4 list of narrators right now. I wondered if you ever thought of like narrating a solid book for somebody for a set price to do that, or if you ever.
It's actually something that I'm hoping to do, and that's part of why I'm publishing my own stories in this way, because it's a good way to kind of break into that.
I've had a hard time finding The Time Machine narrated by a good, and it's not a very big book, but if you thought up a price and wanted to look at that book, The Time Machine, then I'm sure that I could work something out financially with you to compensate you for your effort.
Can I tell you? I need to tell you something real quick. You know who you remind me of, Ogre?
Oh, who's that? Uh-oh. I hear a lot of
Hank Williams Jr.
That's number 1. Number 2 is Thompson, Hunter S. Thompson. I get that's it. People are always telling me
that too, yeah.
That's the number 1 because you know that Hank. I don't know if he's bald or not because I think he's got his hat glued to his head.
But the first time I seen you, I was like, look at this son of a bitch. He looks just like fucking Hank Williams Jr.
Oh, thank you, sweet thing. The first time I saw it.
Then you picked up your guitar, and I was like, oh my god, so you need to play.
The first time I seen your well-turned fanny, I started following your ass, girl.
Yeah.
Anyway,
follow it to the promised land. Play me a Hank Williams Jr. song.
Oh, Hank?
Not now.
Oh,
not now. But
Hank, because I'll figure it out. I'll do you one righteous with the drums and everything if you'd like.
Sounds good.
All right. I'm working on the sound in here. It's a big boxy room, and I've been using only this Yeti. I have a 24-channel mixing board and mics and everything. I just haven't set it up. I probably will, so it actually sounds like I don't want a studio sound, and I don't think I could do it in this room anyway, not with the walls, but I could get it pretty close. But I do like a little bit of garage sound, but everything I've done so far, it sounds like it was done in a tin can, like in the back of a semi-truck.
Yeah.
Going down the highway.
I have the same problem, man.
Yeah, but you got to do what you got to do. I do my best. I'll do. In fact, I'm going to write it down, sweetie, because you know what I'll do? I'll tell you that, and I'll be all cool, and you're thinking, oh, Ogre's going to be there. Later, like a month from now, you'll be like, what a dick. Because I got to do Donnie, where's your trousers? Cabbage. Donald, where's your trousers? That's a long ago request.
Oh my God, the Scottish one.
Yeah, that's from the Drunken Sailor. I got to get that out. She requested that 2 months ago.
That's
but I'll do this weekend.
Who did that? Who asked
I don't know.
That?
The Drunken Sailor, a 17-year-old homeschooled girl from somewhere out there.
Holy shit, that's a really bizarre request.
Well, I did the one where the Scotsman's kilt, under the Scotsman's kilt. That's on my channel.
Oh, that's such a good song.
Yeah, she's seen that and was like, that's what she asked. But I've tried that from the Irish Rovers. Donnie, where's your trousers? It's not freaking easy.
No, it really is a weird bloody choice.
Yeah, well, she's a weird bloody kid.
Yeah, well, no respect. I mean, to drag that one out, obviously. Must be one of the childhood things or some kind of.
I got it though, sweetie, and I sure do appreciate you on the show because it's always good to have a female voice. We run over you and you're still patient.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine now. I just sit back and listen to you guys. It's a good giggle for me too. I learn a lot of stuff from you guys, like different opinions and all of that. I appreciate it.
How the patriarchy operates.
Anything you think you learned from me, throw it in the toilet.
Well, I'm not talking about you. No, I do learn things about you.
Yeah, you can learn things about me, but don't learn anything from me, except for maybe music and philosophy.
You are teaching me how to tolerate loud voices in my ears for hours at a time. So that's what you're
Stop burn the stream.
Well, that's okay, because we're getting how to not have to deal with high-pitched voices at our end, so that's great.
Oh,
Cabbage, keeping it egalitarian there. See how you do that?
Oh.
No, we love you, girl. It's great.
Oh, I know. No, this is a lot of fun. I've met a lot of great people coming and hanging out with you guys in the chat and stuff, and people coming and visiting me on Twitter. So really great people. I really appreciate it, and you're fun.
That is an amazing place.
Yeah, I think
and it isn't just for porn. I don't care what you say, but it does have a significant element because guys will be guys.
In honesty, that's the thing that I like the absolute most about this, Carrie, is that you know, as I seen my subscribership going up, especially from that Sargon thing, man, I'm getting weak in the knees. But the thing that keeps me wanting to do this is that I met you after that, and Doppelganger. He's been here for a long time, but I met people after that I would not have otherwise met.
Right.
And as the number of views goes up every day, I don't want to delude anybody or myself. That is not what thrills me. It makes me a little nervous because I'm a really private hermit that likes to play my guitar to myself and the 5 or 6 people that I know and love, and that's about it.
Chickens.
My chickens.
Come on, you would come on. I'm sure he would have a fan show up at his doorstep. He would whip up his guitar and play some
Oh, listen! When I first started playing, Jeremy.
No, he wouldn't. He'd whip out his gun and he'd shoot you in the fucking head if he didn't know you were coming.
Probably. I played in many bands, and when I first started playing music, what I did was I learned to play the guitar. I was out of school, and my degree was worth fuck all because it's ministerial and philosophy, basically, and psychology that I couldn't use because it was just a master's, and they don't have a doctorate. You basically can't do shit. Anyway, make a long story short, I found out pretty quickly that I had to be an entrepreneur, find something to do because my waste of time at school wasn't going to get me anything. So I had my guitar skills a little bit from school. I honed them. I was broke, Jeremy. Broke, I say. No.
Dire Straits.
Broke, I say. I was riding a 50cc scooter in the freezing winter up here and everywhere I went. And I carry my guitar with me all bundled up like a baby. And I would go to the bars. And first, I was okay. I don't even think I'm that great now, but I would play a few games like Stump the Minstrel. And around here, it's easy because they want to hear 70s and 80s rock. Boom. People started buying me hamburgers and beer. And then, you know, it would be a war. You know, somebody would want me to play a song. So, I want you to play this one first. And I didn't even say anything, but somebody would say, oh, they're getting you a hamburger? I'll give you $5. And before I knew it, I was like a Jewish mariachi. And I went all around here for about a year and a half. And then I got in this really cool band with a guy named Freeborn. We wrote a few songs. He did a lot of the lyrics and I did a lot of the music. But that was the progression in music. And I'll tell you what, any musician, when I hear these pop stars that are either Disney kids that were given it on a silver platter, never been to a bar where they were I've been to bars playing that drum.
But that's the thing. That's the thing is that they've been raised in another culture.
Sissies. They don't know music because I'm telling you, I've been playing that drum set. I show a picture a lot. I won't do it right now because I'm trying to think about this and I'm about ready to split. But playing that drum set, and Joe Blues did not make it that night. He was down at a guy named Frankie Moat's funeral in Georgia. And because Frankie was a guitar legend down there, long story, but he wasn't there. And the guy that filled in for him, he was our lead vocalist, and a lot of the blues I put over it is Joe Blues doing the vocals and the lead guitar, and Freddie King's guitar. No shit. On Freddie King's 335.
Well, Ogre.
Well, hang on, I'm almost done. I want to get this out because this is recorded, and I just want to be cool. And this is true. So I'm at this bar, all cool with Joe, right? Joe didn't make it. This dude's filling in. He don't know any blues. It's called a Moose Lodge is where I was playing. Anybody know what that is, Carrie? Moose Lodge? Anyway,
yeah, absolutely.
It's like clan,
like an Eagles.
Yeah, sort of
there was nothing but bikers there that day.
Yeah.
Nothing but bikers. This dude stood up that made me look like a little girl. He must have weighed, and I don't mean fat. He obviously hit the weights more than Arnold did. He must have been 265 pounds.
Walking brick shit house.
Oh man, girl. He stood up and looked at me specifically because he's seen me at other clubs with Joe, and he was like, play the blues or we're gonna beat your fucking ass. And then he went, ha ha ha, just joking, and then sat down and looked at me like this.
Holy shit.
Just lip a quivering, man. And you could see his nose. He was like this, man. His nose was like, his ear was like this. I mean, a big old fucked up guy, man. I mean, he looked like he'd been through the war. And listen, I right away when we were done with that song, I covered the song all myself on my channel. This one, it's called "It Hurts Me Too," and then we did about 50 blues songs after that. I told Paul is his name. I won't say his last name because he'd be pissed, but Paul is a faggot. And so I was like, give me the mic, put a mic back here. I got the guy that was helping us on stage. 1, 2. I was like, do you know fucking 12-bar blues, dude? We're coming in on the 5. And he was a great bass player. Bam. I tell you what, I've never in my life felt so much pressure to do art. So there you go. That's my long story about if you're going to be a musician or anything. Jack White from Detroit, Michigan said, he plays these shitty guitars. That one that he plays that's red and white, it's a piece of shit, plastic 1940s throwaway $10 guitar back then. Because he said, this is a quote from him, if it doesn't hurt you a little bit, it's not really a job. And my job is to be a music man. Anyway,
my mama always said, if it ain't hurting, it ain't working.
Yeah, and all these new pop stars and stuff, they suck. I couldn't name a band that's 2 years
Yeah,
old.
but I mean, Ogre, right? You go back to someone like the Beatles. You look at their early career. It was all in Berlin. They were literally like hawking themselves around Berlin for 6. They were doing 6 turns a night, right? They were working. I mean, they really fucking worked. They made their music, and they were playing live. There was no extra voice modulation systems or any shit like that. They had to
that old shitty equipment, man.
Yeah, and you had beer bottles getting thrown at you and things like that. If you weren't working, you weren't earning. It was as simple as that. Now you just get a record deal and you got yourself an instant income. Very, very different environment.
As my dad said to me when I was a kid, if half of the money you're making as a musician is not spent on fuel and bandages, you're doing it wrong.
Amen.
That is sweet. That is a good quote.
That was best said.
That is true.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna do another bong swat, and I was almost gonna say, I almost said it, Cabbage. I was gonna say I'm gonna do another bong swat and stay here as long as Cabbage Patch Bastard stays here. But that means
bring it on, man, because I don't have shit to do tomorrow.
There was a stream that I started with Cabbage. He was there from the very beginning. I started at like the time I did today, 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'm talking, we're bullshitting. I leave the stream, it's off air. I go back and bullshit a little bit more about 1 o'clock in the morning. Cabbage is there. By his time, it's 6 in the morning. I got up the next day, 10:30 my time. You got to add 5 hours of that. So 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. He was 24 hours shooting the shit with lads. I don't even know what to say, but this bong swat's for you, Kevy.
Good man.
Yeah.
I'll take a drink with you. I've got a glass of wine here.
Oh, I need to charge mine. Hang on. Let me go get a proper drink, mate. I'll be right back.
All right.
Hello.
So how is everyone's hump day been? Anybody get any humping in from something?
That's right.
Oh, hello,
my God.
Hello, everyone.
How did you get here? What magic did you use?
As some sort of bearded barbarian sent me the link.
I sent it out in the chat a long time ago. This is free. I didn't name it that this time. I didn't name it this, but every Wednesday is a free for all hump day. That means after the second hour, I put the link in the chat. Everybody can come in. Just fuck it.
Have you been using modern technology again, McGowan?
Well, of course not. It's all magic.
It is.
Very nice.
It is. It's all witchery. You're absolutely correct, sir.
I rub my cock and things happen.
Black magic.
Would you call it your fetish stick, sir?
I call it my magic staff.
Well, what happens when you tickle the balls?
Well, why are you making this complicated? I had a thing. We were having a thing. Everybody was rolling with it. Holy shit.
That's what Cabbage does, man. That's his job.
Now the fucking shit in my cornflakes the moment I come on a fucking live stream.
You see, you're just a magician. I'm a sorcerer.
Magog, I think I'm sub to you. I'm gonna make sure. You do have a channel, right, brother?
Oh, if you are not sub to Magog,
I do have
you need to go to the pits of hell. Go to the pits of hell.
I'm almost positive I did, but send a link in the side chat to make it easy on an old man.
Very well, Ogre.
Thank you so much for coming here, Magog. You really brought a lot of light and levity to this thing.
That is what I do. I show up and I scream ass rape, and it all goes down from there.
Yes. Hey, here, Cabbage. I'm ready now, brother. So here's the May God Cab, and God save the Queen, mate.
God bless America, my friend.
Say what? You leave.
No slamming beers,
No,
man.
no,
My
it's
doctor
just
said I had to
drink.
choose between slamming beers all the time or dying of a heart attack randomly. So I'll probably slam one a day.
Ah, yes. I try to stay away from the drink. That'll kill you. So
That's very wise.
I relegate most of my time to heroin.
Speaking of some sauce.
Beard, what are you wearing?
You have
What
mess
hell?
issues?
What happened?
Thank you.
I had to
Thank you,
armor
God.
up with my holy protective armor so that I'm not affected by this man's demonic workings. Dude, that whole
Armor won't
divine
save
test.
Oh shit! Do we all have to create a DM character now? I'm gonna be a paladin. And
No, you don't have to do anything, but that's badass, dude. I can see the leather. That's basically padded leather.
Oh yeah, no, this is hard-boiled leather. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's padded
love
leather
this shit.
armor. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
You fucking nerd.
That's not padded leather
know,
armor.
right?
That's just kinky fucking sex toy. Look, it's got. Look, you
Oh, no,
can
that's
string
what's
yourself
backing
up
it
with
up.
that.
Oh yes. There's a
Yeah,
child.
he's made a tilly hat that is.
Yeah,
padded
but what you
down.
don't realize
It's like-
is you
he's got a
turn it
helmet.
round and there's a hole in the anal cavity.
Oh, no.
Man, Cabbage.
Jesus.
Leave it to Cabbage.
Oh.
Boom,
Who's
My
that?
trade secrets.
boom, boom, boom.
Somebody conquer me.
Somebody had to go there.
All right, Magog. Actually, if I'm not subbed to you, I'm gonna show my ignorance right here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and sub to you on air. But I think I hit your sub button. I'm almost positive. No, I didn't.
Magog Poe's
Such a
been
jackass.
very chatty lately. He's been having a lot of like independent time. What's going on? Are you and Rufus fighting?
Well, he has his own show called Midnight Dreary,
Mm-hmm.
and he really enjoys just hating your world with the fire of 1,000 suns, as he said in his
Midnight
last episode.
Dreary. Isn't that from?
Yes, it's my
Edgar Allan
show.
Poe?
Oh, hi, Poe. Hi.
Hello, everyone. Yes,
It's a
Poe's
Poe
here.
reference.
Poe.
Yes.
Poe, what do you think? What do you think of strip clubs? Do you think that that's a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I quite enjoy them because they give me a boner. Get it? I'm a dead bird.
So, you don't enjoy that human thing?
I did not understand that, Carrie, because I was thinking about you naked.
Oh, me too.
Ooh.
As was I.
Naughty bird. You naughty
I am
bird.
a dirty, naughty.
You are a dirty bird. You are absolutely dirty bird.
Yes.
Do you need one of those illegal spankings?
Oh, be gentle, though. I'm not.
Well, use a feather.
Yeah,
You can pluck one off him.
What are you gonna do with the feather, Cabby?
Shut
Well,
up, bird.
actually, what's the difference between what's the difference between sexual and perversion? With sexual, you use the feather. With perversion, you use the whole chicken.
Oh God! Shove a chicken up your ass.
Reminds me of Friday nights in Moscow.
It's kind of gnarly. See, most people didn't get that one.
Friday night where?
In Moscow, it's where I live. It's the kingdom from which I hail.
All right.
Magog, tell Ogre where you came from. Like, why are you even here?
I would enjoy that.
I have opened a magical window into your world, and I am viewing it for the first time, and I found it to be quite awful.
Yeah, it sucks.
It is, yeah.
Why are you still here then?
What is it that you find
Fuck off.
awful? I'd actually like to have you as a guest sometime on the big show, man.
He loves our weapons.
Blow your wad a little bit. I mean, so what is it that you dislike the most about this shithole?
Well, I found that Antifa and SJWs deserve to be conquered.
You are
I
correct.
might have to help you there.
Oh yeah,
You are
continue.
correct.
The feminist stuff is bullshit.
What about BuzzFeed? What about BuzzFeed? Magog?
No! Do not say that name to me! I do not like it!
I'm so sorry.
It hurts my ears. The words don't belong together. Does not words right?
That's his
When I get a buzz, I want to feed, but that's the only way I can imagine they go together.
And I found out too that college humor is humorless.
Well, Magog, do you? I mean, since you've been here, have you ever sampled the thinking weed? So, you know, you don't consume alcohol, you said, but have you ever sampled the thinking weed?
No, but I would quite love to find a way.
Well, I would say it's mostly for shaman and people that are ready for it. So if you do try it, make sure it's in small quantities until it works, because most people find that it don't work the first or second or third time.
But Ogre, he already said he dedicates his time to heroin. He's way beyond the weed.
Fine. That's fine. I don't.
I break into his.
I'm not saying I wouldn't try heroin, but I haven't done it. I mean, I would probably. I don't know if I'd shoot it up. I might sniff a little bit one time if it was given to me at a party or something. I don't know.
Tea.
Yeah, or eat it. I guess that's how it gets. I was offered cocaine when I was very young, and I didn't know what to do. Instead of snorting, everybody was snorting it, and it seemed I don't do snuff or anything, so I ate it. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh God! How did
it tasted horrible, but it worked. It worked right away. I mean, whatever everybody else was feeling, I think I was feeling it too. I started sweating. I couldn't. You think I talk a lot now? Holy shit!
Man, how did you get that down?
Oh, I threw up the first time I did it. The first time I ever did that, I threw up. But I was kind of ready for it the next time. And I'm not going to say like the next time. Like I did do it 1,000 times. But there was a little period of my life where there was a certain person I met that had the shit all the time. And so that's basically what I did because I've done other drugs. I'm not even going to lie. I've even snorted other drugs. But
I am wired.
I don't like cocaine.
Enough. Yeah,
I don't even drink.
I would implode.
I don't drink coffee. I drink beer because if I drink 2 coffees, I'll have a fucking panic attack. And I don't mean like, I'm gonna fucking die panic attack.
Yeah.
So I don't do shit like cocaine. That's
I've done
right
stuff,
now I'd be afraid to try.
That's the whole point.
But
now I work on a basic principle: no pills, no powders, no potions.
All I'm saying is magic mushrooms will make you think you're a fucking wizard in another realm.
Oh shit!
They do. I can tell you that because I had mushrooms in Southampton. I was sitting on Glastonbury tour, having mushrooms at one time when the mists of Avalon were coming in. I'm telling you now, you think you're a fucking wizard? I was sitting there on the top of Glastonbury tour.
Yes, it is because
having mushrooms. And I tell you what, it didn't work out well for me. I had a bit of a spat out.
Which year Glastonbury was that, Cabbage?
Huh?
Which year Glastonbury was that?
Oh God, that was back in 19 shit. Well, I was
52,
21. So
1940.
20. So 69, 79, 89.
It's
1990. 1990.
That
I'm
was
just
a good
interested
year.
who was there.
Huh?
I'm just interested who was there performing.
Who was there? Oh wait, no, I was on the tour. Like up on Glastonbury tour. I went down and I was just doing the sort of the holiday thing.
What's this English?
My girlfriend's
sure it's not a contrived accent from another planet.
uncle had a farm. We went and stayed there.
Yeah,
we went to the festival.
It's good, whatever it is. It's funny.
Costs like
I'm gonna check out some
costs like
videos.
a fucking fortune now, the festival. But anyway.
Well, it is because
Yeah,
of
but everyone was
shrooms
drugged
that
out.
I know
I remember-
what color purple tastes like.
No, seriously, during that, in the tour, when we went, there was a guy who was there. He was into numerology and stuff. And we set up a campfire, and the guy came down. He was absolutely. We were in a circle, and then this bloke that we had no idea who the fuck he was stuck his head in the middle and said, "I brought a bunch of mushrooms to sell. I took them all myself," and he kept off. And we never saw him again. It was brilliant. It's one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. You should have seen his eyes. They were like dishes. I'm not kidding. He didn't have any iris. Pure pupil.
Oh god. I don't know. I'm kind of with Mr. Mackey on all this.
This is a new voice. This is a new voice. Who are you? Hi, Carrie. Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm
Tigerson.
Tigerson.
I see that. Okay.
And I'm currently out and about. Actually, I'm like on my phone walking home from the pub. So if you hear cars,
there's a man on the move.
Okay.
There are cars.
Wait, are there a horde of people very close to you right now?
Yeah, he's actually doing his grinder tour.
Are you trying to run away from a mom that has
guilty is charged?
Run, man, run!
Anyway,
He has social obligations.
Jesus Christ, Magog's having a seizure in the background.
Guys, it's time for me, so thank you all for the crazy ride of 3 hours, and see you next time.
Bye, Dub.
Bye, Mark.
Goodbye, small crystal ball.
Bye.
I don't know who that guy was. Everybody
I don't know, but if we
introduce
stare deep
yourselves.
enough into him, we can tell the future.
Everyone introduce yourselves. I'm Carrie. You know that.
I know Carrie, and I know Ogre, and I know the bearded man. The bearded ball.
I am the Beardbarian.
Now you know so many more people. Look at it. Increasing, ever increasing circle.
Cabbage is the creepy baby doll head, and Jeremy is the
Yes.
dirty.
I'm not a
the dirty
creepy
Frenchman.
doll head.
Well, this is the first time Swift Fox have been on here, Magog, but Tigerson's from England, Cabbage from England, and then Jeremy on the other end there, he's our French friend. He's
Britannia.
he's our resident homosexual Frenchman. Well, bisexual, I mean, I should say, to be genuine and honest and fair. And we just have a really weird set of people here, Magog.
Yeah, you do have to.
Who you missed though? You missed Doppelganger.
That
That wasn't a crystal ball. That was nuclear fusion happening. And Doppelganger is the evil twin of someone that lives on this planet that comes from another dimension, another planet, such as yourself. And he's found a window here to destroy the life of said twin on this planet. And so I don't really know where he's from. I think it's Kolot or something like that. It's like the same planet that the Mormons worship.
Kolot.
Kolot. Kolot. It's the Mormon god.
Mormon one, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the
Has he been
same
bullshitting
place.
us this whole time?
Yeah, he's from another world. But so there you go. That
He's
was
a colonist.
He's one of my he's kind of a producer. He's actually
he has anal retention.
But thank you, Magog. What made you? You got a bunch. I'm looking at your videos. You got a few. And man, I love this community. So did you start out with Lacey Green? Was that your first one?
Yes, that was my very first video back in January in your world, and I have seen some serious growth since then. I am now almost at 7,600 subscribers now.
Was it responding to Lacey Green or something?
You're one away from that. I made you one away from that when I hit it. I'm sub number 7,599.
Nice.
He was more reacting to Lacey Green than responding.
Which Lacey Green thing was it?
That one where she was like, "Oh, Trump got elected. Everybody run for your fucking lives."
No, the one in front of the artificial fireplace with the candles in it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, Cavi. I'm listening to it, watching it over here. It's good.
At first, I was quite attracted to her large bosom, but then she ruined it by talking.
Yes, exactly. All she had to do was just, strip.
I have
she
no
did got a hell of a lot more views.
I have no idea
Just
why
down to
anyone
her
finds
underwear.
Lacey Green attractive, because she's fucking...
Oh no, she's not unattractive. I think she's fucking, but you wouldn't respect yourself.
Everyone always says that. They're like, "Oh, she's really dumb, but I think she's hot." No, she's not.
Come on, man. We're all
just so
God's
awful.
children in the dark.
Well, I'm saying she's got nice boobies.
Well, that
but I'm
means-
gonna be perfectly honest.
well, that means we're all related.
She's cross-eyed. She's fat. And in about another 5 or 10 years, I wouldn't touch it.
Oh no, God, even in a couple of years. I mean, you see how these people turn into. They have absolutely
That
no
said,
self-respect.
as it stands right now, I would not kick her out of my bed.
No, she said no. Right now, I mean, I would. I mean, if the opportunity not.
I would not.
You have to factor in her massive tits. So she's probably like a 4.
Well,
Something else about her is just...
That's
but like I say, but you see, no,
In the girl
saying
world.
4. No,
In the girl
you see,
world.
what you're forgetting is 4 applies sober. You put your gear, your beer goggles on. That's an 8.
There you go.
Right.
Oh,
So
savage.
a few tequilas, a few shots, a few beers. Sorry,
And I
but
put my tequila goggles on. That's a
values-
10. They're all 10s. Once I put you get me 12 shots. They're all
Everything's a 10
10s.
with you anyway. You
We are being...
I don't know about that.
You're being so problematic right now.
You're gonna have a bad time. Yes.
Dear God, do not say that word. Problematic. Really.
Problematic.
You are being so problematic right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot.
This is just a way for them to not say I'm offended.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's excellent to see you do that, Magog. You're handling it well too. What made you? Well, I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I'll save it for the show. Maybe you'll answer, maybe you won't. Some people never break character. You ever heard of Andy Kaufman?
Yes, I'm a huge fan of Andy, whatever you said.
Oh, okay. So you've seen it from your home planet.
Yeah, I've discovered much about your world. Do not worry.
Oh,
and
sure.
yes,
I'm sure that.
Oftentimes I do eventually break character, but people find it hilarious when I play Magog.
No, I'd rather you be Magog here. As long as you can. We had Nachi Free on, and eventually he had to take off his mask. You can see him on my silly. I've been told that it looks like a 16-year-old girl's bathroom mirror.
yes, Nachi and I are well acquainted. He's good.
Oh, Nachi. Maybe that's how you found me, or I don't know.
No, I randomly found you because I was looking for sexy bearded men. I mean, I was searching.
Welcome, sir. Look, I'll get in trouble. The British will be mad if I take my hoodie off because I got a tank top underneath of it. And I used to like flex for the girls and stuff when I was just starting this, but apparently
you still do. Ogre.
I try, but I try
to flex for Blair White the other day.
Sadly,
we all saw it.
But that was different. I did that publicly.
That's different, is it? All right. Okay.
Hey, she followed me. I don't want to brag. She's very lovely, and I'm very flattered.
You are a lucky son of a bitch.
I try not to do any of the shirt taking off thing. I'm like a glad bag filled with oatmeal. It's not. They're mushy.
Where's he sick? Glad
I'm
bag.
joking. I'm sexy. I am.
Oh yeah, I believe that.
You should have said a condom full of oatmeal. That would have been better.
You look like somebody jerked off on a head of cabbage and had a child.
That's right. That's what it is. Oh, by the way, you have to adopt me. I come with adoption papers.
Oh yes.
So you had no plans. You didn't have any plans when you did the Lacey Green thing. You didn't have any plans.
No. I had a plan.
Okay.
Yes, there is a method to my madness. I wanted to launch my YouTube career with hating on the big tittied feminist. I figured that would get me a little attention, and I've just gone downhill from there.
And I'm gonna look into it. I'll be honest with you. I always am. Actually, to tell the truth, if I watch a video of somebody's, they see I comment on it, and I never comment again, it's because I don't like it and I'm not watching anymore. But
I just realized what
if I like it, I'll tell you for sure. It looks, judging by your character,
what you sound like. You sound like the Cookie Monster.
Yes,
but with a pseudo English accent. That's what's kind of getting on my page.
Much easier to understand than Cookie, but I can hear the.
No, don't stop. It's great. I love it.
Cookie.
I don't think you can get him to stop.
Can't you do Beaker? That'd be tough.
I will admit it is hard to continue doing the Magog voice.
Well, then chill out, be yourself. I don't care. Or split. I do like your character though. I've did several times on this show because I love some of my favorite actors are Andy Kaufman and I would say Nicolas Cage and probably also Carrey and Jim Carrey, because these people go into a character and become that character almost no matter what. And lately, I'm trying to be more or less myself without the character because people, because folks don't fucking get it. Look what happened to Andy Kaufman. People still think he's alive. They're like he was waiting tables in Arizona in 2012.
No, quite dead.
Quite dead, sir. Guaranteed.
Yes, he is. God rest him. And
God rest his soul.
Yes, he was a good and
He'd probably prefer if we said God piss on it.
Purpose.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's what happened with Jim Morrison too. They all like, he's still alive. You're deluded. He died the way he wanted to, as a heroin overdose in Paris.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in a toilet, in a bathroom. People think it was in his bathtub, but he was in a toilet.
Yep.
Yeah. And Elvis on a toilet.
Hey man, I was just looking. I did a song.
Jim Morrison in the bar.
I did "Lawyers, Guns, and Money" by Warren Zevon. He died 56 too, man, because he lived a wild life and whatnot. Lung cancer, died. But fuck, man, what are you gonna do? He look. There's a clip of Zevon on David Letterman's show, and David Letterman and him were very good friends. And David Letterman is weeping. You can't. He's not like, but you can see the tears glistening down his cheeks. And he says, well, Warren, it's been so great working with you now that you've got the diagnosis. Is there something about life that you know that maybe the rest of us don't know? And I mean it. You can watch it if anybody wants to see it. Warren Zevon. Put Warren Zevon's last appearance on David Letterman. You find it easy. It's free on YouTube.
Gentlemen,
and,
I'm going to have to bid you good night.
Thank you so much, Carrie.
Oh.
Well, I don't really have anything else to add to the conversation.
Think about everybody's leaving too, and I'm going to split like directly. Magog said his voice is only lasts so long. I'm about ready to split, man. I got to go. I should have been gone an hour ago.
Goodbye, smoochies.
Goodbye, my dear. Tell Poe I said hello. Throw Rufus a
Follow
treat,
her
please.
ass.
Goodbye, Carrie.
Goodbye.
Hey, fly away. Fly away. That was the best
Good
reference I
night,
can give
everybody.
to
It was
anything.
nice to meet everybody new. Bye, Jeremy. See you guys later. Bye, Cabbage.
Yeah, it must have been a lie because I forgot what I was saying. Must have been a complete lie.
Oftentimes, I will stay in character on a live stream, and then in the after hours, I'll be all like,
Oh,
"Hey."
okay, that's fine because I'm gonna cut off the real broadcast. I'll do my little tagline. I'm gonna say, and probably not because I will do this. I like to do it on specific times. I know I'm weird that way. I'm OCD in some ways, but my desk looks like an ogre puked on it right here. But what I was saying, it's at the end of this. David Letterman is weeping. What do you know something about life that the rest of us don't know? And the immortal Warren Zevon looked right at the camera and said, "No, not unless it's to enjoy every sandwich."
That sounds like Warren Zevon.
His last record was My Ride's Here, and he knew he was dying when he made it. The name of the record was My Ride Is Here, and he's in the back of this stretched limousine with just him in the back of it with his arm out looking at you on the camera like, "I'm fucking gone. When you're listening to this, I'm dead." I didn't give a fuck. I love it.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I have a question for you, Ogre.
Oh, yes, sir. Anything.
If you are a Warren Zevon fan, were you disappointed in what's his name? Kid Rock using the Werewolves of London piano in his song?
I'm disappointed because I don't think he gave enough proper credit. I believe he tried to pretend that was just, it was, and that was obviously Werewolves of London. But to me, okay, to answer, because I know what you're getting at, Magog, I believe you can't do that. I tell you one thing, of all the bands I've been in, we never covered Led Zeppelin. And if anybody, shut up, Lily. If anybody covered Led Zeppelin, they were a Led Zeppelin tribute band that practiced it until you swore it was Robert Plant and Jimmy Page up there. Because there's some things you just don't do. And taking Warren Zevon's, Kid Rock's not from far from here, and he's got a house really close to here on Blue Lake. Torch Lake, sorry. And he's a dick. He shouldn't be doing that shit. Grow up, motherfucker, and quit endorsing candidates. I voted for Trump, but you shouldn't be endorsing candidates, you loudmouth fuck. Oh, did that answer your question?
Yes, I was just curious because I thought it was a bastardization of Warren Zevon in Sweet Home Alabama.
Oh yeah, it was terrible.
Yes.
It was and he's a fucking ripoff. He got his guitar stolen because everybody knows he's a dick. One of my friends, true story, cut his own bloody neck in jail not too long ago. One of my good friends went to school with him. And he was a punk. He's got very wealthy parents and whatnot. And somebody that probably knew him back in the day, they took his guitar. They stole his guitar. And somebody did anyway in Detroit. They stole his guitar. And somebody tried to call me. I just hung up on him. So anyway, he gave like $90,000 to get his guitar back, all because Kid Rock. I mean, you can't. There's certain lines you don't cross. And Kid Rock is one of those dudes. He don't know where the line is. He don't even probably know he crossed it. Nobody that I know of, this particular person, I can't say his name. I gave you enough information about him already. That's a really true thing. He'll tell you this guy has always been a jerk. Anything that he could do that would like make him stand out, if he had to take it from you and take your style or your thing or whatever it was, he'd do it.
Right.
So whatever. Kid Rock is a jerk. So as any, listen, I would say this is why I don't like Amy Schumer. Not so much for the SJW stuff, Magog, but there was a comedian a while ago. Oh fuck, man, I'm having a brain seizure right now. Big black guy. He just died.
Patrice O'Neal.
Patrice O'Neal. Thank you. I figured somebody would know. I figured it might be you. She dogged this guy and she dogged everybody, but she stole a lot of his jokes. She's a joke thief. That's Joe Rogan is
plagiarism, mate. Plagiarism.
Yeah, he gets up on stage. What Joe Rogan's best thing I think he ever did is when he berates people in the crowd. That's good. And then also when he's up there talking about joke thieves like a Mendocino, the fucked up joke thief in mind of Mendocino. Because everything I've done in my life, I've had to do it, man, including this stupid character. I made everything like you make. I ain't hurt nobody like you. Maybe you stole it. I don't know. But I don't think so. And
no, I'm the only one like me on YouTube.
That I've heard for sure, bro. I give it to you. First thing I ever
I have a high production value, and I show my face, and I have all the get up and everything. It's quite
entertaining. And a sweet fucking layer. God
damn.
Haven't
you? Wasn't I drunk out of my brains one night with Cabbage and you were on the stream? This is all
no,
hazy.
I've never been.
Okay.
No, I've never been
I
on
must
your.
have been watching one with somebody else. There's another guy called the former Reformer King. He comes on sometimes, man. He reads. He did a part from Glenn Ross, whatever. Anyway, meet a lot of people. Fuck, I really lost my train of thought because this is groovy, but I gotta go, man. We got like 4 minutes, and I'm gonna do a little tag line. Well, we got a minute to go, Magog, and then hang out. I probably will for about 10 minutes when I ain't thinking about this shit's live, and I can't whip out my dick and start jacking it in front of everybody. I found out that there's certain things that I'm not gonna name them again because I have, and it's still online. But there's certain things you can do on YouTube that's considered nudity, like a girl showing her full-on titties without tape over the nipples. And there's certain things, that they don't consider nudity, which one thing I'll name is like the bum. That's a flat-out bum.
That's
so I mooned everybody a couple times. I was like, I won't do it. But I was like, Magog, I was like, hang on, let me get a guitar for y'all. When I got like right here, my pants were already down.
But that's actually not true. I was in a live stream with, I believe it was the Cunt stream, and Wizard of Cause was there, and he had his housemate's girlfriend come on screen with tape over her nipples, and it got fucking pulled from YouTube.
Because they hate the Cunt stream, man. Those people are great. I was on there one night, and the Cunt, Schmeckle, and this other chick that's on there, they go on Twitter, and I don't want to say much about it now because they'll ban me. What they do is they trap people that are pedophiles, and they pretend to be young girls. I want to be very careful what I say, Magog, and you may know about this. And once they like come right out and I pressed them. I was like, because it was on their channel and they were talking about it. I was like, so you're telling me they are trying to make a date with this person and think that this young girl they've gotten pictures of and know that she's 12 is around the corner and they're going to go meet her to fuck. Yeah, they know. Twitter won't ban them.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, you remember that pedophile who was actually admitting that he was a pedophile? Remember that guy? It was a recent one.
Oh, yes.
He's actually saying, I do think it's okay. I do think it's acceptable. He's still on there. He's not being banned.
Here's to the Cunt stream, Magog. I tell you, Schmeckle's a hero in my book. And so is that Mexican-sounding girl that was on there with him.
Yes, it's good people. I enjoy the Cunt stream very much.
Well, now that I can suck my dick a little bit more, Magog, did you know that I did their I don't know if he's using the theme song yet, but I did do a theme song for him.
No, I did not know that.
I'll send you a link in the sidebar here. Listen, it's only about 20 seconds long. He asked me if I would write a song for him, a jingle for the beginning. So it's called, of course, Welcome to the Cunt Stream.
Ah, very nice.
Check it out. You may like it. If you don't like it, tell me it sucks, and I'll try to do better next time.
I'm sure it's just wonderful. Everybody else, you're allowed to talk as well.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not hijacking this.
Oh, of course. No, we're just letting Ogre go on a ramble here.
Yeah, I do that. I did that already.
Ogre's about ready to do his
yep, we got 1 minute.
pitch out. He's about doing his...
Listen, everybody. Remember what I always say. Magog, you may be from another planet, but this is the best advice I can give anybody that I've ever thought of in my life, and there may be much better out there with Socrates and whatnot and all those other plebes that came before me that really didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. What I always tell people is, be good to your friends, be good to your family members, and be good to your loved ones. Be quick to say you're sorry. Be even quicker to accept an apology, especially when that thing your friend, your family member, your loved one has done seems to be so huge you'll never be able to forget about it. Because constant viewers, at a time you think not, your friends, your family members, your loved ones, and your home planet, Magog, will depart from you. Ha ha! Sydney Rough Diamond, I ain't got shit in me, man. I'll do that. Look, I'll do the Illuminati thing and I'm going to hit stop broadcast. Hey, Sydney, later.